Hello, and welcome to the Mad Tea Party. We have Alex, and we have David, and we have a disembodied voice somewhere in the room that just speaks, and it just speaks. But hello, disembodied voice, and everyone else.
Uh, yeah, it's a ghost in the walls,
It's a ghost in
Oh,
the show.
It's got to do something about that.
yeah.
I'm gonna salt all the doorways, so wherever it's at, it just stays stuck in that room.
It'll just be stuck, trapping in a closet.
Yeah. So we're in 2021 now, and it's the 21st day of 2021. Joe Biden is our president. What else? Yeah. Today, 5 people were killed in an explosion in India where they were working on a cure for COVID. And
But that doesn't scream conspiracy theory.
on top of that, so I forgot where it was exactly, but I was just looking at a headline that was saying that some school, they found a hidden camera in girls' locker room, which had just hundreds and hundreds of hours of footage. So yeah, someone's getting busted for that. There's like 60 victims involved or something. And yeah, that's Tennessee. So there's some local news. Yeah, it's yeah, I'm just really glad that now that we're in 2021, we can put 2020 behind us and there won't be any bad things. Yeah.
This is the one bad year out of the 20s.
Welcome to the future, everyone, where no problems exist.
That'd actually be a really bad thing. Like, imagine there's no problems.
That'd be a bad thing.
Well, I guess that's like it's really philosophical.
I can kind of get what you're saying. Can you flesh that out a little bit? I get what you're saying.
Try right now, but I don't know how deep I can get into my mindset at this moment.
If I'm on the right same page as you, I think what you're getting at is that we don't grow except through conflict and having obstacles to overcome. We don't ever develop. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Right. Like you need a challenge to help propel you forward in a way.
Like if we didn't have any issues, we just get really soft.
Yeah, but I mean, unless your philosophical ideals would be like a brave new world isn't such a bad thing, where everyone's perfectly medicated on like heroin or something forever, to where you're just all the time in ecstasy. Like some people hold that belief that that's like the epitome of what we should aim for. But personally, I don't think that pleasure is the ultimate goal of life, I guess, or is something to that effect.
Jordan was just telling me an idea he had that he was saying that if he could the ideal outcome would be that things continually get worse indefinitely, because not in the context of even our world, but let's say I'm trying to think of how to unpack this. It's kind of a big thing. He was proposing that when you have, okay, so he used Jesus as an example of Jesus had to be impaled, and he, in that depth of darkness, in the depths of torture and despair, he found a truth, which is, don't be upset at these people. They don't know what they're doing, even in the face of torment, which that sets a precedent going forward in the future, because people can look back and say, what would Jesus do? So we get these little nuggets of truth that we find in the depths of hell. So what he is proposing is all the suffering that led up to Jesus being impaled was worth it to gain that nugget of knowledge. So he was saying we need to, like, ideally, like, let's say, because we were talking about the universe and like how it operates, and he was proposing that after this, like an afterlife sort of thing, it might be worse, like things are more difficult, like a harder level, but because of that, you would be stronger and gain more truth, which I think it's an interesting concept. Like the yin and the yang exist as one entity, like it's a mixture. There has to be that push and shove, that balance. Um, with pure light, you don't appreciate the light because it's all you know. Where you have darkness that gives you insight to the light because now you can appreciate it.
Yeah, it's perception based.
Right. Which I get what he's saying, but like I think things are hard enough as they are. I don't want it to get any harder, and I don't necessarily agree that it would be worth it to gain that knowledge. I think there's already enough suffering in the world.
Well, think about this. So right now in this, as you live now, you are Alex inside of a bone mech. You are piloting flesh, and you are in
Yeah.
this world, in this universe. But you're not aware of what the harder levels bring or what the next level brings, even if it's harder or easier.
Mm.
So when you end up in that place, you may look at it and go, okay, well, I'm here now. So how do I come out on top with where I am now? Just like you've done in this life. You've taken this life with its hardships and gone, I know I can make myself more than this. I know I am destined for greater than this. So there's nothing to say that when you move on to the next place, even if it is harder than that, your outlook on it, having gained all the knowledge you gained through this life and the past lives before that, you may be equipped to handle that hard mission, and it may not even be hard for you.
Yeah.
Hard is it's it depends on where you stand, you know, what's difficult and what isn't.
Yeah.
What's hard for one person might be easy for another.
Right. Exactly.
Mm.
So I don't think, I'm not entirely sure, and I try not to think too much about what happens when we move on because I'm not to that point yet.
And it's sort of irrelevant also. Like
Right.
it shouldn't have too much bearing on your reality.
Right. Because you're going there. Like, unless you can choose where you go,
Mm-hmm.
then you have no choice. So it doesn't matter. You are
Oh, it's,
going to be thrust into it regardless.
yeah. And I'd also say like you can live your life believing a idea of the afterlife, like believing that heaven and hell exist.
Right.
And then it's neither of those things, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it is, but maybe you lived your life preparing for something that isn't reality. So so it's one of those things where I think you definitely can lock yourself into a mentality and try to prepare yourself, like try basically like you're saying, like try to assign yourself to one of those places, like heaven or hell.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm going to live my life in such a way that I get to heaven. Well, I'm not sure that's the best way to operate because you don't know that heaven exists. You might think you do, but you don't. And none of us have any concept of afterlife really. Like I think
Right. Because
I think it was a quote you brought to my attention that death is like the last perfect thing. I forget who said that, but they were saying that death is the last perfect thing because it's untouched by people. We haven't corrupted it. It's still whole.
it's
It's
not
not.
something we can control.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
But just because it's not human doesn't necessarily mean it's perfect. But I know what you mean by saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the last untainted thing. Yeah. It's so final. Like,
I mean, as far as we know, you never know.
I guess that's true. Yeah. That's also a concept, right? Like an idea is that death is an ending.
Yeah.
Could be just where the page turns to a new chapter for all we know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's now I can't remember whose concept this was either, but someone was telling me they think you either like you okay, if you have a strong ideal, like something that drives you, something you hold up as uh let's say divine, um then like you can die and become a god of that thing. So like the god of virtue, the god of love, whatever it is. And he was also saying that uh, there are pre-existing gods with ideals, and sometimes like if your ideal is in alignment, then you just sort of merge with that thing. So like you like trying to think of an example.
If I really, really, really liked lightning, I could merge with Thor.
I guess so, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Or more accurately, if I liked war and anger and rage, I could probably
now you
merge with Thor. Yeah.
You've got it. Yeah. I like lightning as an ideal, like as a characteristic. Not as an
You just walk down the street and people get struck down by lightning. This is my idea. I believe in it. So it happens everywhere I go.
If Thor's the god of lightning, I guess he's pretty powerful, huh? Because
he's technically the god of thunder.
Okay.
He's the god of the sound lightning makes.
I guess I've always just associated lightning with that.
Lightning with thunder, yeah.
But doesn't he like shoot electricity?
I mean, he does, I guess, to an extent, but it's sort of like, more accurately calling him the god of storms would be probably more accurate in that instance, because he does have lightning-esque powers that he's exhibited in certain instances, but for the most part, like, he's known as the god of thunder.
The thunder thing comes from him banging his anvil up in the clouds, right? Like that's
I don't know if it's an anvil, but I would, because I haven't heard of anything of Thor being related to craftsmanship in any sort of way.
Okay.
I think it's more so of his hammer hitting other things.
Oh, like maybe he's at war or something. Okay.
More than likely.
Interesting. I love stuff like that, It's so
lore.
Yeah. So like back to that back to what I was saying about what Jordan was saying about Jesus and finding that truth. I got a text message now. I forgot what it was. We were talking about Thor, and then
you were talking about Jesus and how something. Jesus something. He said something.
I remember. So he was explaining that, like, Jesus finding that nugget of truth is worth it for humanity, right? And I was like, okay, I'm not saying Jesus didn't exist, but that nugget of truth still exists whether he did or not. So you don't actually have to suffer the way Jesus did. You could just write something.
Right.
Like, and create one of those nuggets of truth, which there's still a sacrifice involved because you still have to write it, and that takes from you. But
right.
I would say it's not as bad as being impaled to a stick.
No.
One and the same, really.
Yeah, I mean,
right. Emotional pain, physical pain. Who can say what's worse?
Yeah.
But Yeah, that's very true. Like, it doesn't take the same things as it used to reach the same point. And that's kind of how our progression has worked with a lot of things. Like, you look at alchemy and chemistry, they're essentially one and the same. Just one has a little more mysticism in it.
Yeah.
Astrology and astronomy, same difference. One has more mysticism. And so we found all these ways to take our old beliefs, or the way that we thought the world or the universe worked, and found a way to use them to our advantage. So at this point in our time period, like you said, we don't have to suffer. We don't have to be strung up to or nailed to a cross in order to find those truths. It's just,
Yeah.
there is still sacrifice, but it's not the same.
Yeah. Like I remember being a little kid and like being enthused, like um for those of you at home, Philip, David, and I were all raised as Jehovah's Witnesses. Bible was ingrained
Gang,
was ingrained pretty heavily into us as children against our will.
gang. Yeah, against our will is the operative
Yeah.
phrase in that sentence.
And I don't know about you guys, but like as a kid, learning about the Bible, like I actually enjoyed it for a time, like there was stuff in that it's like you get it, you glean, like they have like the children's book of Bible stories, which is just like it's like illustrated with pictures and it's broken down in a very simple way where children can grasp the meaning of it, right?
Mhm.
And I remember thinking like, wow, this is like I understand the significance of the scripture because I'm able to glean messages from this, right? And you're
Mhm.
taught that this book is the book of messages. It's the thing you get insight from.
Right.
So then when I got older, it's like I'd start, getting into like different TV shows or animes or video games. And I get that same kind of feeling, like where I get wrapped up in these characters and their experiences and like the messages you can, a lot of those kind of things have strong messages and morals in them too. And then I
Mhm.
realized it's just the power of art and literature. It's not that the Bible is necessarily divinely inspired. It's that, or maybe actually I'm gonna segue a little bit. Maybe the Bible is divinely inspired, and maybe every other inspirational text is also.
Mhm.
So you write a really good story, you might be a prophet without realizing it. It's kind of a medium for something greater. I
Right.
think, which I know we've talked about that before, but I think that's what art is. An artist sort of opens up themselves to receive signals.
Mm. See, I think that's where where we share a difference or a split, is because I believe we, or at least some people, not everyone, um, are. I believe. Okay, so I believe everyone has that, like, stereotypical piece of God in them. You know what I mean? A little bit. I do believe that we came from something more than what we are, or something different than what we are. I do think that we were or our existence was brought upon by something else other than just evolution. Um, but I do believe that there are people who possess higher levels of spiritual connectivity, I guess,
Hmm.
to where they are able to transcend outside of what our carbon based bodies are say is possible, or say should be able to be done in this world. um and I think that those people who have those abilities to work outside of the I personally view it as a handicap, being human, um as being a handicap. But I do believe that there are some people out there who have a pre-propensity to be able to connect with things outside of their own species, whether that be animals or spirits themselves. Because I've read some things on druids, not a whole lot, but I know that there's a lot. There is, there are the animal magics, and there are people who, not necessarily like Dr. Doolittle, but people who claim to be able to speak to animals, and I don't see any reason why that's not the case, why that would be false. Because I've had experiences, not to the point where I would say I was talking with an animal, but experiences with animals to where I felt something deeper than just, you're my pet cat or you're my pet dog, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that I'm not entirely sure what makes, like, if it's like something before birth or something that happens after birth, what you go through or what you learn that makes you, get to that point of being, uh, for lack of a better term, ascended. Um, I'm not entirely sure what I believe on how that comes about, but I do think that there are people who possess something, a little more in tune with the spirit world than others.
I mean, that would make sense, like, because that's how every other aspect of people is, right? Like, some people are born taller. Some people, um, like, yeah, we have differences. So to have different levels of spiritual connectivity would make sense.
And that's where the belief that art doesn't necessarily come from an outside source comes from. That's
Okay.
I believe that, because if a person has, that pathway open to them, then they're, and I don't mean to say that not everyone could create art, but uh, effective art. I think that for it to be effective, for it to reach the minds and souls of those whom you choose to, who your target audience is with this art, if there is even one, I feel like that takes something, that not everyone has, something special that, separates an artist from the rest of the people. And I think that's what an artist is. An artist can be divinely inspired, but I don't think that every artist is. I think that some artists have an innate ability in and of themselves, or maybe due to the things that they experienced in past lives, or who they were as a spirit before they were put into this body. That's, they are able to connect to that and say, okay, here's where my intent comes from. Here's where my will comes from, as opposed to, I was, divinely inspired to write this, or, to perform this action.
Yeah, could be for sure. Yeah.
But that's because I'm slightly narcissistic and I believe that I'm better than everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying for sure. I'll get to a point where it's like things just kind of come to me, like sort of just like when I'm writing um like a novel, I have to sit down and think about what I'm going to write. But when I'm writing poetry, it just sort of comes to me throughout my day. Like, not like I hear a voice, but like I'll just be, working and like things start spinning,
Mhm.
And it's like I don't really know that that comes from me. It
Right.
might not.
Yeah.
It's hard
Because
to
I mean, it obviously, like, I mean, if you want to break it down, it obviously comes from your subconscious. But the problem is what do you believe your subconscious is? Because if you could
Yeah.
believe that your subconscious is just a part of you, you could believe it's a completely separate person, completely separate from you. You could believe that it is,
a
that your
collective.
subconscious is a collective, yeah, of different influences or spirits or whatever, you know, at that point it just comes down to how you feel this situation is playing out and what's going on. And, you know, being in the position that I am in personally, you know, I don't, any art that I've created, well, I don't say any art, the art that I've created that I consider to be good has come from someone else or something else. And
You mean like derivative? Like
more
you saw like a concept or an idea and you kind of played on it?
no, more so what you were talking about earlier
Oh,
about being
oh.
influenced by an
Oh.
outside
Yeah.
source.
Okay. So you're not talking about like you're not talking about plagiarism, you're talking about channeling. Okay.
Right. Yeah. And because you had said something to me before in a text message, you were like, you know, you got a lot to say. And see, while that's true, it's also false in the sense of I don't have jack shit to say. But things have people to say, or things have words to say through me.
I would okay, so that's perfect. Let me stop you right there. That's yeah, I agree with that because like, you know, before we started doing this podcast that we're doing right now, I was thinking like, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to talk about? It's like, I don't really know. But then we get into it and it's like, it takes care of itself. You just start talking. And it's
Right.
like, I think that's kind of what I'm getting at. It's like, if I decide to sit down and write something, I will come up with something. And it's like, it's almost like you just have to open the door. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
To take that step.
That's all it is opening the door, the window, whatever it is you have to open yourself.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it is, or at least the way that I look at it, is that I know what it's like to be human. I know what it's like to experience human things. So I can connect to another human on a human level.
Mm-hmm.
But only a spirit can connect to someone else's spirit.
Okay.
So for me, it becomes a matter of I want to reach the minds and hearts of these people, but I know that from my limited standpoint, there's not much I can offer their spirit.
Yeah.
But another spirit can speak to their spirit on things that their spirit will understand.
Right.
And at that point, I've reached them so much deeper than just, oh, I like this song because it sounds good.
So when you say spirit, we're almost coming back to that subconscious thing again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like to touch someone's subconscious is deeper than touching their conscious self.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That's, I mean, that kind of sounds like sigil work too, you know? Like in
Or Disney work.
You mean?
There's subliminal messages
Oh,
in
yeah.
the movies.
Yeah. Walt Disney, I need to go take some lessons from him.
Fucking master sigil magician. Just incepting ideas into an entire planet.
How do we make the entire planet anti-Semitic? Let's make cartoons.
Cartoons will do the trick.
Cartoons will do it.
Yeah.
We'll just put little flashes, images here and there, and then everything will work.
And that's how you get Nazi Germany.
Yep.
With Disney movies.
If it wasn't for Walt Disney.
God damn it, Disney.
I sent you that meme. I was like, my daughter asked me when we went to Disney World what I wanted to see. And I told her, I just want to know where they're keeping Walt Disney's frozen head. That's the only attraction Papa cares about at all.
Yes, I fucking love that shit. Oh my god.
Shout out to Lil Bubby Child, the best fucking page on Facebook. I'll send you a link. Lil Bubby Child's lit.
Little Bubby John.
Yeah, they're all in that art style. It's hilarious. Fucking cracks me up. There was another one that was like, my paw can whisper to warts and make them go away. I want to be that guy. Just the old,
Yes. Do it.
yeah, the old shaman. It's like you can't come to the top of the mountain. You have to walk a crazy trail, and you get to the top, and it's like, please, my son has warts. And I just lean over the warts and I go, and then I just pinch them off, and they're mine. I put them in a jar.
Thanks for the warts, kid.
Mine now.
You make a whole child out of warts.
Oh shit, my wart child. I'm calling this episode Wart Child.
Yeah.
Wart baby.
Wart baby.
Yeah, my little wart baby. You will be the Antichrist. You will rule all men.
Oh god.
So how about okay, hard segue. We need to legalize drugs across the board.
Yes. Yeah. Well, okay, let's talk about this though. What drugs?
All drugs.
All of them?
Only heroin.
I
That's
Because
the only-
heroin is literally just poison. Like, it's poison.
it has painkiller
It
benefits.
has
Like they used
medicinal
it.
benefits, but rarely, only in severe cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so does death. Death relieves pain too, but that's not prescribed by a doctor.
What, are we gonna outlaw death now?
No one's
Has to be
allowed die.
prescribed to you by a doctor.
Yeah, go take 10 cc's of
Go fuck
10
yourself.
Yeah. Take 10 bullets to the head and don't call me back in the morning.
No, okay. Really, I just don't like the government telling us what to do.
Oh yeah, fuck that.
Like fuck you
Yeah,
for
but
telling me I can't ingest what I want to ingest.
Right.
I don't care if it's gonna kill me. You don't tell me I can't do that.
Exactly. That's not their place.
Yeah. And people seem fine with that. Like why? I don't know. I guess we have bigger issues to talk about than drug control, honestly. But
I mean,
They should open it federally to where the states can decide each the legality of every drug.
I don't think any man
mm-mm.
should tell people. No human should have that authority over others.
No.
Period.
No. You can tell me, hey, if you take heroin,
Yeah.
you might die.
Right. Put
And then
warning.
I'm gonna say, fuck you. I want to do heroin and maybe die. And then I might do heroin and I maybe die. But that's my choice.
Like put warning labels on it. Like, hey, tobacco may cause cancer.
Yep.
Like, and they fucking sell that. So,
Yep.
and you just
Every
put warnings
fucking
all
gas
over it.
station.
Just put fucking warnings all over it. And then you can sell heroin, and it's like, hey, this is extremely habit forming, extremely addictive, and your body will become dependent on it if you take it a lot, and you'll fucking die. Or you could just easily overdose and die. But then at the very least, like, this is really simple. Like, at the very least, then you're taking the money out of the hands of crime syndicates. These gangs can't sustain themselves if you take away their only operandi of business, which is prostitution and drugs.
And drugs. Yep. They can't.
So, so you legalize prostitution and drugs. Okay. The gangs just fade out. They can't support themselves. What the fuck do they do? At that point, their only markets are gun smuggling,
And boosting cars.
gun smuggling, human trafficking.
Yeah.
Boosting cars, theft, right?
Yeah.
And like money, like money sharking.
Money laundering. Oh, money sharks. I got you.
Yeah,
Okay.
like lending money to people.
Yeah.
Like that's I think our world would be a lot better if that was the case.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think that. Well, I don't know. I think that getting things like drugs and prostitution, I think they should definitely be legal in the first place. But I definitely agree with getting them out of the hands of the crime syndicates. But I don't agree with taking them out of the hands of the crime syndicates and giving them to the hands of the government. Because here's the thing. Yes, the syndicates are criminals. However, the crime syndicates have never come to me and told me, hey, you can't do this. You're not allowed to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But the government 100% will. And
Yeah.
they will control who's allowed to do these drugs, when they're allowed to do these drugs, why they're allowed to do these. You look at medical marijuana, like my grandmother's just now getting into, I got her into edibles. So now she's looking at getting a medical card. But like, there's so much shit she has to go through just to smoke a plant that came out of the ground.
Right. There's
Like,
there's no reason for that red tape.
no, there's none. And the war on drugs,
Even if it was fucking killing people, which weed isn't, but
right,
if it was, there's still no reason.
alcohol is killing people.
Right.
Like cigarettes are killing people. So at that point, what the fuck is any of this other shit?
And anyone watching this, like, if you disagree with what I'm saying, please leave a comment and talk to me about like what your opinion on this is, because I've legitimately never heard a good argument for why drugs are illegal.
Yeah, neither have I. Racism has been about the only thing.
Yeah, I would love to expand this conversation if anyone has any takes on that, because like I feel like most people are on the same page about this, or they just haven't thought about it. But like, that's what I laid out as the biggest thing. You take money away from the mobs, and then then if you are a junkie that just needs a fix, you are getting it from a source that you know is clean, right?
That is true. Yeah.
So like they're already doing this in like Sweden and like a few
Yeah.
other places where it's like you can just go to a heroin clinic and they'll give you a dose and then they'll watch you and make sure you don't fucking OD.
Overdose or yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know. I'm not so sure, and that's kind of where it's like iffy for me, because it's like a lot of that kind of stuff depends on like what type of government or what the involvement of the government is.
Yeah.
Because at a certain point, I don't believe, like you said, the government should be able to tell me I can and can't do anything.
Right.
So
as long as you're not infringing on anyone else's
right. Exactly. As long as I'm not hurting somebody else.
So I mean, yeah. So like
at that point,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. No, you're good. I was just gonna say at that point, it's my life to live and it's my death to choose.
Yeah.
So, but I do like the idea of having like clinics or places where people can go to do these drugs in order to be in a safe environment. But that also does mean that there has to be more governmental control, which is like, that's where the toss up comes. Because it's like, if the government just says, hey, everybody, go do meth, go do heroin, go do, cocaine, go do whatever the fuck you want to, you're gonna have a lot of people dying on that shit.
That's
okay.
That's totally fine if that's what they choose to do.
Right, but you're also gonna have a lot of people who maybe don't quite understand.
I don't, yeah, I guess that's the issue, is people think it's their decision to decide whether people live lives the way they want to or not.
Right.
When in reality, how someone else lives their life has nothing to do with you. And it's actually extremely un-American to tell someone, like, put restrictions on their freedom like that,
Yep.
just because you disagree with it.
This country was founded on freedom.
I was thinking about this, like 1700s and prior, slavery was commonplace for not just America, but many countries.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, I guess more recent than that, not the 1700s, but you get what I'm saying. But in retrospect, everyone agrees that that's fucked up, right?
Right.
But look at the problems we're going through today. Like, it was just 5-10 years ago that everyone was talking about gay marriage. And it's like what people should be allowed to do. And this is going out to anyone who is against gay marriage. Don't ever fucking call yourself a patriot or an American. What two people do behind closed doors is none of your fucking business. And that's extremely un-American take. So,
Damn
yeah.
straight.
So on top of that, yeah. So, I mean, that's an issue we're talking about, is whether gay people can get married. Like, we have not progressed very much if these are the fucking topics we're discussing. If we
And
can't,
it's always, yeah, it's
I don't know,
always
I'd
about
say
whether or
we
not.
have progressed a lot. That topic was being discussed to begin with.
oh, instead of just,
Yeah.
yeah,
But for so long, that wasn't even allowed to be a debate. It was just like, fuck no,
Yeah.
like get out of here. That's
Our progression, yeah, we've progressed a lot as a people, but we should have been there to begin with.
I guess-
That's the problem.
yeah,
Is
that,
we have to progress where we should have already been. And
right.
that's what I feel like is a big problem with humanity as a whole, is like, this, like you said, that shouldn't be something we shouldn't be talking about. It shouldn't, it shouldn't be discussed whether or not
Right.
people should be allowed to have arms to protect themselves. It
Absolutely.
shouldn't be a question whether or not people are allowed to do drugs, because they should be allowed to ingest whatever comes from whatever they find. If they want to pick up a piece of fucking, I don't know, plastic they found on the road and want to eat that, let them fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm going to
it's
advise you
not
not
your
to,
place.
but I'm also not going to like get in your way.
Take it from you or stop you. Yeah, like
Yeah.
at that point, you choose what you do with yourself.
Right.
And that's the problem with government in and of itself as a whole, is it's meant to govern. It's meant to tell people what to do.
And if you're at home listening to this and you think it's a pipe dream, like what we're talking about couldn't be done, this already exists. Like, Portugal just has drugs legalized. Like, you can just get drugs legally across the board. So what ends up happening, you can look at the statistics and see that addiction rate and usage goes way up. More people take drugs when it's legal, obviously, right?
Right.
But violent crime plummets.
Right.
It makes
Because
sense.
there's not drug-related
everybody's too
crimes.
stoned to go.
Everyone's feeling good, and
Right.
and there's no gang shit. So it's like, I mean, I'm sure there is gang shit, but like it's reduced heavily.
Right.
So, I mean, I
Take a lot of power away from them.
I wish we were brave enough as a country to try that and implement it.
I don't think that it's not that we're not brave enough to try it.
Yep.
I think
Big pharma. You're right.
Yeah, because they are the ones that are the drug dealers.
Yeah.
They are the biggest group of drug dealers on the planet.
And what happens
Like,
when some stoner is slinging weed on your block, and it's like, I can't push these pills to people if the stoner's on the block, so you kick him off your block. You fucking
Yep.
put him in behind bars.
yeah,
That's some gang shit right there. Is fucking
Yeah.
just eliminate the competition. And
that
America
shows how.
is the biggest gang. The government's the biggest gang.
Yep. That's exactly what I was just about to say. That exactly shows how the government itself is a gang, and they have their enforcers, the police, and the military. They have their side hustle, the drugs. They control everything, and they are just one big gang.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, it's like we're all living in the ghetto. The United States is the ghetto.
Yeah.
Everyone's living in the ghetto because these people who are selling you these drugs and who are, funding the police, these people don't live in the house you live in a house like you live in. They live in a house with 10 plus bedrooms, 5 plus bathrooms, cars more than you even make in your life. Like, that shit is just insane.
Yeah.
And we as a people sit here and just let them do it because we're comfortable. and apathetic towards, they let us live a comfortable life. So why would we rise up against that? And talking with my grandmother has actually like allowed me to see more into what the majority, I guess, of the American populace thinks, because she expressed to me when I was talking to her about, anarchy and things like that, that, she said, I live a comfortable life. Why would I fuck that up?
Hmm.
And I get that. So in that instance, don't do anything. But don't get mad at me because I see a problem with the
Yeah.
rest of my situation. Even if it does affect you, you don't have any right to tell me that I can't be mad at my government and I can't want to overthrow my government
Yeah.
because they are doing things I don't like, just because they're doing things you are okay with.
Right.
So at that point, I feel like a lot of people are sick of this shit, but not enough of them realize that there is an actual way out, and
Yeah.
they're not in a dire situation. It's not like they're in some third world country where they're sitting there looking at it and going, everything fucking here, is just garbage. So let's, do something about it. But we have this. I mean, the majority of the American populace are sheep. I mean, and it's not out of any place of hatred or angst that I say that, but it's just the truth, because they buy into everything that they're told, whichever side that they're on, Republican, Democrat, third party, they buy into what they're told, and they
Hmm.
don't do any they don't think past that.
Yeah. Like a lot of people are really quick to call Trump a racist, but no one's bringing Biden into question. Like
Yep.
for some reason, people think he gives a fuck about minorities.
Fuck no.
It's like, oh, you guys are praising your new master. Isn't that nice?
You know what? Actually, let me take that back. Let me correct you. He does care about minorities as long as they're rubbing his legs at the pool.
His hairy legs.
His hairy legs. Yeah. As long as he has enough little black children to rub his hairy legs at the pool, he'll be okay.
They all run up and touch my hairy leg.
I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I got hairy legs, but I'm not walking around a preschool. What the fuck?
Yeah. I think we traded a racist for a racist pedophile.
Yeah, pretty much. Or I would go ahead, if you're gonna give Joe the racist and the pedophile, you should go ahead and give Trump lunatic, because
Yeah,
he is a
unhinged.
lunatic. Yeah, unhinged.
Yeah.
An unhinged racist and a racist pedophile. That's what our options came down to.
And why is that? Why are those our options? Why? I mean,
because
you're
that's what it takes to be in power.
like if you had ran for president against those two, like it would be a no-brainer that you would do a better job than those two. So, and not that you're the ideal president, but
Right.
what my point is that most people would be better candidates than those two. I would say,
Yep.
I'd have to disagree with that, to be honest. Even though both candidates can seem rather dull on the surface, they're dealing with a whole lot of geopolitical shit that we have no idea.
It's not. I'm not saying it's not an intelligence thing. It's a character thing. I'm not saying that they're stupid.
The character of the average person.
I'm saying they're shitty people,
leading rather than the IQ of a president.
I would say so. Like you really want both, but
yeah, I would bet that both Donald Trump and Joe Biden are incredibly, like, just out of my league intelligent in certain areas. But like you said, it comes down to the character of whether or not they are a good leader. Because that's the thing. A president is a leader.
mm-hmm.
He's not just there to make random ass, statements or random ass rules or whatever. He's a leader of our country. So there's more that goes into that than just, general intelligence or, the fact that Trump wasn't even a politician. The fact that he's got money. That's the only reason.
Mm-hmm.
Money is power. in this country. And in a lot of countries, money is power.
It's the whole world.
So, yeah, pretty much. So at this point, when it comes down to who has, the most pull when it comes to money, of course you're going to get some fucking weirdos.
Yeah.
Because the weirdos got to that point by being weirdos.
I would also say it says something about an individual to want to lead the country. Like, only specific people want to do that.
Right.
Like, it was Tolkien that was saying, like, the last person that should be in office is the guy who wants to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And, that's a weird thing because, like, you don't run for president unless you want to.
Yep.
Or I guess you could say you see a need. So it's like,
yeah.
But even that is some, like, delusions of grandeur shit that you think you are more competent
than someone else's.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's what happens anytime you disagree with anyone or anything like that. And if you think that if you're running for a presidency and you think that you're just comparing you're mapping your own ideologies onto the world versus the current president or whoever you're running against rather, and then trying to see sorry, I'm losing my train of thought, but
so if I understand, it's more so like, it's more so it comes down to comparison than anything, because it's like if your ideals or the things that you plan to put into place are better than the current leader of your country,
Okay,
at that point,
not the best, just better.
Right. And I feel like that's really all that we can hope for from politicians. And I say that specifically because I do believe that a politician or that someone other than a politician needs to be in office.
But then they would become a politician. What do you mean by that? Like someone raised?
So someone who has spent their life and made their name known in politics. So like, all these governors who try to run for president, or these other people.
What's attractive about that is that they're already privy to the knowledge and interactions with whatever governments that they're working with. So they already have a foundation kind of built up, whereas your average person wouldn't have the same kind of things like
right. That. And see, that is where, from my standpoint, it also becomes the problem. Is because the more connected you are, the more available to corruption you are. The saying that every man has a price is not exactly, that's pretty true for the most part. And especially when it comes to money hungry politicians, which I'm not going to say it's 90% of them, but I would say the majority of them are only in it for the money and not for the betterment of the people or the country. But when you have someone who is not a politician, someone who's not connected in these worlds, who sees the country from a different perspective, you allow yourself room for growth, I feel, in the sense of there is a new way of thinking brought into it. And I don't necessarily think that makes it good because it's new. But I do think that what we have been doing over the past centuries it's failed. And I think that sticking to it is only having a losing mentality. It's literally like playing on a team with a bunch of people that are going to lose.
Well, we're not really sticking to it though. We're constantly changing things all the time. New laws are being enacted, old laws are being changed or completely removed.
That's true, but a lot of times I've found that it comes down to, like, when a president gets into office, if they are not from the same party as the person before them, they end up just tearing out everything they can.
Yeah.
And see, and they do that, I feel, because it goes against what their party's beliefs are, not because it's bad for the country, but because their party
Well, a lot of times
influenced.
But
They'll-
it's their idea of what's good for the country. Just like you have your own idea of what's good for the country, and everyone does. And then people, I guess, who have kind of a generalized concept of what's good for the country, it roughly splits into two parties. Although I don't think the two-party system is really a good thing either, because it does cause them.
Did
to
you
be
guys
combative
see-
with each other?
Do you guys see that Trump is planning on starting a third party?
I did not see that.
It's going to be called the Patriot Party.
It's gonna be called the Trump
Yeah.
party. The Trump train.
Yeah, all his patriots. I mean, okay, so it's funny because in his address to the people who stormed the Capitol, he called them patriots.
Hmm.
And I know a lot. I've heard a lot about how that's so bad, and that's just like how could he endorse these people like that or call them patriots and things like that. But people fail to forget that we rose up against England. We took this country
Mhm.
from England.
Yeah.
Rising up and overthrowing the government is what we are founded on.
That's what we fucking do.
And the people who started this country were escaping from religious persecution
Yeah.
and an abuse, power abuse from their government.
The people that wrote our Constitution fucking hated the government.
Yep.
And they were like these bastards, monarchs.
They hated the old system of government and created a system that they thought would be best to govern
Yes.
the people, and the people to govern themselves,
Right.
which is what it's supposed to be, is the people through popular vote elect officials within their respective states, and then per state has sorry, I keep losing line.
So entertain this idea. What if we weren't a United States? Right? What if we were a country? Because we're not a country. We're just a bunch of states together that say we won't attack this other state because this other state recognizes the federal government as their government, and so do we. So we won't.
That's not exactly how it works, but I see what you're saying.
So
You're saying without like regions, just like
right.
wipe all
So
the
just
wipe all
one
little lines off the map and just
right,
have-
exactly.
Okay.
You just have one big country. So then at that point,
The reason why they do that is to, like, you would elect a sheriff for your county or something, in order, or a judge for your county who you think is representative of your county's
Oh.
worldviews.
Okay, so it's not exactly like wiping out the lines then. What you're really saying is we shouldn't be a United States, we should just be a country. Or not even that we should, you're just giving a hypothetical.
right, that we were just one big country.
Okay. All right.
Um,
So there could still be states, I guess, but they wouldn't be
Right.
states exactly. They'd just be
they wouldn't have elected there wouldn't be a state, like there wouldn't be a governor, there wouldn't be there wouldn't be all that shit. It would just be there's the president and there's we would have to change our name because we wouldn't be the United States, but there would be a president or a emperor or a king or whatever, and he rules this area, and that's it. That's pretty much how the rest of, or how a lot of the other countries do things. And I feel like
Breaking it up into states does help keep the checks and balances in place, though.
Yeah, that's
Because
what I was gonna say.
Each state can vote on a lot of their own issues as well, rather than it being fully dictated over by like
Then
an
at the-
omnipotent kind of government figure or something.
right. So basically, how I feel about it is that one or the other needs to exist. We either need to be the United States or we need to be a country. But I don't think we are both. And I don't believe we can be both. Because I feel that for the states to actually operate the way that they should, I think that the federal government needs to disappear. But if the state governments disappeared, there would still need to be something there. So the federal government would exist. But I don't think they both work together.
Well, the
Because then you get stuff like federal laws that are not state laws.
yeah,
Like, how can you tell me I'm not allowed to have this thing, or like I'm doing something illegal when I'm in one state because you said it was illegal, but the state says it's okay. So if you catch me, I'm
Well,
not.
but it's
That's-
per state. The reason why those laws are the way they are is because the elected officials from those counties are representative of the average viewpoint of how uh, laws should be created by that community.
By the people in the area, right? And I think that that's okay. I think that maybe it's just too much. It's too big.
okay,
too
yeah.
much.
Yeah, it might just America might be too large. I could see that. So
Split it up.
so what was I gonna say? The state law thing makes a lot of sense to me actually, because the thing that makes us a country is the things we agree about. The things that make us states are the things we disagree about. So
But I don't agree about marijuana being illegal federally. And how do I vote on that?
like, well,
Like, where do I go?
You don't, but your state does.
You vote for an official
Right.
in your state who holds the same viewpoint, and then that state will have to then,
Yeah.
And what
In
if
theory, there is a route to get there legally.
Sure. Yeah, there definitely is a legal route. But like David was, or to expound on that a little bit, these elected officials, I've lived in 6, 7 different states, 3 or 4 since I've been an adult. I have not voted federally, and I have not voted for any local government in the entirety of my life. And the reason for that is because there has been no man or woman on this planet besides the one sitting next to you, David, who shares almost every exact viewpoint that I do, or that I trust enough to say could lead me. So I have not voted. So these people that are in office, Trump doesn't represent me. Biden doesn't represent me. Governor
Right.
Whitmer doesn't
But
represent me.
it's not that they're supposed to represent. I mean, it would be nice if they could, to you personally, but what you want is someone that represents the best interests of everyone. So they can't be,
That's
they can't
not what I
hold, they can't hold all of your perfect ideals within their head, just like you wouldn't want them to follow the perfect ideals of any other given person.
Right.
So that's the problem, Phil, is it's not about what you want though, it's about what we all want.
Duh. I mean,
That's how, I mean, like I get what you're saying. Like if things could work the way you wanted to, then it would be ideal for you. But unfortunately, that's just not what we're talking about, right? Because that's the government doesn't go to Philip and ask him what he wants.
right.
The government, yeah.
So, and that kind of brings me to a little bit of like the voting process is like, so no one that I know of that is run for any sort of government, represents me as a person, obviously.
And like the things that you value.
And the things that I value specifically. Yeah. Right. Now, I could hold out for someone else, for someone who does, but more than likely, that's not going to happen. I don't see any politician from Michigan ever being like, hey, let's legalize psychedelics and let's raise minimum wage, let's defund the police, let's defund the military, let's all these things that I hold value in are not going to be I'm sorry, some of them may be taken into consideration, but no person other than myself is going to fit my interests. And I feel like because of that, there's no reason for me to vote.
I mean, your reasoning
And
could be
because
that one person is more optimal to your
I don't do
worldview
that,
than the other person is.
I don't do more. You're either with me or you're against me. I don't
Well,
do
I mean,
I don't do
unfortunately,
mores or lesses.
it can't work that way for everyone because you have to, you know,
That's fine. Like that's cool. Like I get that. If some people want to be like, okay, well this person is better than the other, so I'll vote for them. That's fine. They can do that.
So,
But
go ahead.
oh,
I mean,
uh,
you will never find a politician that holds exactly your worldviews unless it's you that's running. So that's why
exactly.
the people who vote for someone who is the closest to their worldview than whatever else candidates are on the board. And it might be really far removed from your worldview, but just a little bit closer. And you're saying, well, this is the better, uh, this is the better of two piles of shit, pretty much. So I'm going to pick that.
And so I think that that is where it becomes important for those who are learned and those who are um, those who have insight. I think it is important for them to let people know that they don't have to choose between diarrhea and a hard turd. Like, you can just leave the bathroom. You don't have to choose between those two things.
Interesting. So this gets back into state law, which I want to touch on that again real quick. Um, the thing I think is neat about state law is, let's say your state outlaws abortions. You can go to another state where it's legal without leaving the country. So you don't have to stop being an American. You just have to stop being a Texan and go to fucking Michigan or something.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't have a problem with state law. I just don't think that the federal government needs to exist on top of it. I think we should be an actual United States.
Well, I mean, the federal government deals with issues that state governments really don't. Like
Yeah.
federal government deals with like overseas affairs and things like that as well. That state officials should be looking at their own respective communities rather than what's going on across the seas or something like that.
I understand why
Okay,
we have
well
state
then,
and federal.
well then let them. Okay, so make the federal government like the CIA. They're not allowed to operate within our country.
Okay.
How do you mean?
So they're just specifically for foreign affairs.
So they are specifically for foreign affairs. They're to keep other people from bombing us, and that's their only purpose. Everything else is state. And that I wouldn't have such a big issue with. But I think that the meddling in the people's affairs that the government has done, and the amount of theft and murder and just all these unspeakable acts that have been committed by our government to their own people, to us, is just it's insane. And yeah, it's not as bad as other countries. We don't have a military occupation. We don't have to, always worried about whether or not we're going to get bombed. But that doesn't mean that it makes our situation any less miserable for us. And that's the thing about
I guess
perception.
that perspective at that point.
Right. It's perception. Just because it's not that bad for you doesn't mean it's not that bad for me. And there's always those people that are like, well, if you don't like our country so much, why don't you leave? And you know what? If I had the ability to, I would. Shit, if the government gave me, it was like, hey, we'll pay for you to move to another country. We're not going to give you a house over there or a car, but we'll pay for the moving to another country if you don't want to be here. Shit, I'd be gone so fucking fast you wouldn't even know.
Where'd you go? Hypothetically.
I would go to New Zealand.
It sounds like they got it pretty
New
nice over
Zealand
there.
doesn't allow arms though. or at least not ARs.
I don't see any reason why I would have to rise up against that government.
Hmm.
They've never I don't fear them for any reason.
Right.
So
That itself is kind of dangerous. That
yeah,
you don't ever want to be in that position.
right. But in the same
Potentially.
That reminds me of one of my favorite
Right.
song lyrics. It's like, don't let anybody ever tell you that you're safe.
Yeah,
You ain't
that's
ever
true.
safe.
But in as far as like in comparison and as far as, other things go, I don't have to look at them and go, you just disgust me.
Yeah.
That's what I mean more so about safe. I can sit in my home and go, okay, I feel okay because I know I don't, my government isn't actively trying to kill me or trying to, silence me or, whatever, you know what I mean? Like you don't have I don't fear that from them.
Okay.
So, and that's just because of the way that things have been, the things that I've observed as far as their government concerns. I would have said Australia as a close second, but they have the fronts of their boats fall off, and apparently their politicians just really don't understand boats.
Dude, Australia
What?
fucking sucks. The Australian
Australia
government,
sucks
you,
dead.
Australia outlawed South Park.
Yeah, I know.
Really?
They're so censored over
They're,
there. It's
they,
insane.
yeah.
Yeah,
Australia sucks for like censorship.
What?
yeah. They're very censored. In fact, the games that we play, like video games, they have their video games censored in their country before they
Yeah.
can buy them.
Yeah.
So like in like The Last of Us, some of the more like violent scenes were taken out completely.
A lot of developers for games and shit like run into stuff like that with Australia and China because it's like
Hmm.
before it goes to China, it has to go through all this red tape also.
Hmm.
And even that, that is an abuse by the government. However, in the same instance, I don't think I don't I would rather take some censorship over the idea that either my skin color or my political affiliation or whatever could be my downfall, you know
Yeah.
and a lot of that is systemic. So it's like, there's never going to be a perfect situation unless I'm running it.
Hmm.
So at this point, I mean, I guess I kind of get what David's saying. You kind of pick the lesser of two evils. But in this situation of like, with Donald Trump and Joe Biden, it seems a little too much like people are just accepting the bad just
Yeah.
over and over and over again for no
Well, I
reason
think
other than the fact that they
yeah,
don't want to do anything about it.
that's right, Phil. And I agree with both of you where it's like I get what David's saying about like you pick the lesser of two evils, but the danger in that, and this is what you're touching on, Phil, the danger in that is you have to be careful how low you set your bar. Because if you'll like more the last two elections, a lot of people voted, like a ton,
Hmm.
even though our
Hmm.
politicians suck
Yep.
the last 8 years.
Well, that's because they were so
Yeah.
uh
The media's got them all riled up. So it's like you can put anyone here and they'll vote now because it's like, oh, anyone except
Is
Trump.
anyone except Trump. Yep.
I had a friend of mine, he was saying, he's like, Trump's the best thing that ever happened to the Democrats because now they can steamroll anyone in there.
Yep. They can literally put a dog in office and people will be okay with that.
There's also, this is an idea I hadn't considered before, but he thinks Trump was a Democrat plant. Like he was saying that at some point, like in the 80s, Trump had said, which I haven't seen this. This is something that a friend of mine had told me, but he had seen where Trump, at some point before he ran, had made a comment about how Republicans stand together and Democrats are divisive, like they attack each other.
Right.
But Republicans will unite under something. So he was saying it'd be really easy
Mm-hmm.
to become a Republican and just
Oh.
control these people.
Yep.
And when he told me that, I was like, and he was saying that he thinks that basically Trump was a Democrat plant. That way they could just put anyone else there. Like, go do such a shitty job and get everyone so riled up
That
that,
we can just put anything into
yeah,
office and we'll be okay.
He used to be a Democrat.
right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Which I don't think it's even a question that Trump only ran Republican because he knew he could win, or at least had a shot.
Yeah. He's not a Republican. Like, no, I don't buy
He's
his.
playing the system just like every other politician
Yeah.
has, and placating
Yeah.
people in order to get his ideology on what the worldview, or in what way he should shape America, I guess.
Yeah. See, I heard a thing. I can't remember the name, but I want to say it was something plain Jane like Mary. But his niece said something. Said that he gaslit himself into believing he actually lost the election.
Trump did.
Yeah, like Trump allowed all of this shit and just bought into all of the shit everyone else was saying and allowed himself to believe that he actually won the election and was cheated out of it. And with that sort of information, what if it's true, that shows an extreme amount of mental inability to lead the country. So like impeachment, obviously, at that point.
I mean, they're both fucking ancient. I'm sure they're both slipping.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, and the thing about Trump being a Democrat plant, I don't know too much about that. I think it is interesting that he has expressed the interest in starting his own party, and also the way that things have gone, because he's got, even still, a huge cult following.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we've heard the last of Trump. As much as I would like to not hear his name for a while and like just talk about something else for a minute.
I don't know, as much as you talk about him, probably makes good content.
Good content.
Right.
Well, I mean, hey, I'm here for the shit show. Like,
right.
if things go to shit, we're still going to be here talking about it.
Right.
But I'd rather talk about some other stuff for just a fucking second, right? Can we not talk about Trump?
And then what are we talking about now?
Literally anything else except for Trump in the next 4 years would be a nice discussion, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
Well,
you instigated the conversation to begin with, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's my fault.
Hey, well, we got a new president, and he's a pedophile. So, and a mentally unstable pedophile.
Where's the pedophilia charges coming from on Biden?
The fact that he lets little kids rub his legs. What the fuck?
Oh, he said that?
There's just a bunch of pictures of him inappropriately touching underage females. And
nice.
Weird thing with Trump. Also just weird comments he's made.
Yeah, a lot of weird comments.
I like I'm not I'm not going to argue with someone if they say Trump is a racist and a sexist. Like, okay, sure, we can get on the same page about that. But like, are you serious that you think Biden isn't?
Right.
Like, he has allegations against him too for like sexual harassment, not just for underage, girls, but for adult women also, like secretaries and shit.
See, I think that the Democrats knew that a black woman could not become president on her own, or would not become president on her own, at least not in this election. So what they did was they gave her a front runner, Joe Biden, and either he is going to die or he is going to step down and allow Kamala Harris to become the president.
He's already said that. He's already said that I'm getting old, so at some point during my presidency, I might step down and let her run.
Yep.
That's their plan.
I believe that was the plan from the begin with.
They're being very blatant about it. It's not.
Right.
Yeah.
So And like that's just another thing where it's like, you know, all these people, like, what if you actually liked Joe Biden, right? What if you actually believed in him and you voted for him because you believed in him? What does it say to you about our government that they can just manipulate things like that?
Right.
Right? Like, you don't get a say. You voted for Biden, but they're not going to hold another election to see if you want Kamala Harris. They're
Yeah.
not going to hold another election to see if you want Nancy Pelosi
Well,
as your president. Like,
that's the thing. We already voted on Kamala being the VP, and VP means if the president goes down, she steps up. So people already voted her as president, really, because Biden said he's going to step down.
That's true.
So we voted for Kamala. I didn't, but America did.
Right.
Kabbalah Hamlet. What's up, Neif? We're just
Brother.
we're just here for the end of the world, you know.
Yes. You know, I'm really not seeing it so much as the end of the world.
Yeah. Oh, it's the beginning of the new world.
Well, I don't even want to see it as that because that sounds too positive.
No.
But you know, if you think about like illness, like real illness, I'm not insinuating anything with that. But if you think about illness or toxicity in the system, you feel worse. You know, when you're pushing shit out of your system, toxins out of your system, you feel like hell. You know, a fever comes on when you're curing, when your body's curing itself. So either way, the nation is going to have to fix itself. It just depended on how it was going to go about it. And, you know, either way, I already knew what was going to happen either way. It's just, I'm not even worried about it now on the level that I know what to prepare for, and I've already dealt with that, and I know how to keep on straight ahead with what I'm doing.
Yeah, I said end of the world, you know, sarcastically, but
absolutely.
I really think fucking nothing at all is going to change. Like everything's going to be exactly the way it's been for the last 4 years, 8 years, last 20 years.
It'll probably be much like the last 4 years, except amped up with, I mean, they already tested the fact that they could just slap censorship down and everybody would cheer it, you know. ACAB is completely out the water now. Anybody that screamed ACAB for the past fucking 8 months can, you know, take that boot strap, you know, that boot lace and use it to floss, because that's all I'm hearing now is gang cops. And I'm like, well, all right, if y'all, you know.
Why?
They're happy that people are getting incarcerated now because they were so unpatriotic to go, you know, our new buzzword is secessionist.
Right.
It's like I told people, y'all were speaking secessionism for 4 years. 4 years straight. All I heard was secessionism, and I had nothing to say about it. You know, and now all of a sudden y'all are these instant patriots. Oh, that was a disgrace what they did. You know, I think if it was the other way around, they'd have been cheering it on the same way. They'd have been cheering it on. Let's go do that. Yada yada. You know, but you know,
it's
don't listen to
which
me.
Side of the aisle you sit on.
Right. I'm. Don't listen to me. I'm just some pothead anarchist. You know, what do I know?
Yeah.
You know, shut up and play guitar, Neif.
Hey man, those.
Hey, you're not a career politician. You're not allowed to say things. Quit having opinions over there.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well,
so here's a question: would any of you start a political party? No.
I would.
Not even with the sense of shutting it down, or not even with the purpose of shutting it down.
I would back a libertarian party if it existed, but I don't think I would be qualified to do that.
I'll be back to that question in a moment. Give me a second. I gotta handle something over here real quick. Let me go in the house. I'm out in the fields.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
In the rice fields.
So.
Oh, that ain't rice.
So, to answer your question, if there was I consider myself a libertarian. I'm not a conservative or a liberal. I'm a libertarian. That means the government should mind its own fucking business and
You're a
leave me alone.
libertarian.
The only time the government should get involved is when someone else is infringing my human rights. So, or not just my human rights, but if someone is infringing another person's human rights, they should be stopped for that. That's why we need government.
I don't think the government should do that. I think it should be up to the person.
Well, you might be an anarchist then, because
Maybe.
that kind of sounds like when Neif comes back, we can break that down some more, because that sounds like some Neif line of reasoning. That's like you don't need the police, you just need a shotgun.
I mean,
That's it, Phil. Feel it flow through you.
I don't need the police. There's never been a situation in my life where I have gone, wow, I'm glad the police were there, or I needed the police.
Yeah.
I called the police one time during a domestic violence incident, and they showed up at the house, didn't talk to anybody, and left. So fuck the police. They don't do jack shit.
You can't base just your interactions with those officers as indicative of how all officers act, or
Can we not?
And you do want because I mean that's stereotyping, which is what you're advocating against.
Is it?
I would think so, I guess not.
Is it though? Like, I don't have a problem with stereotyping. I mean, as long as it's
or like putting them too hard in a box, especially based on the minor interactions that you've had with them, isn't fair to say that they all.
I mean, with that being said, I have also been around cops that haven't shot me. So, like, at the same time,
Really?
it's one of those things where it's like, yes, I understand, like, not all the police are just bloodthirsty criminals out to kill black people. But at the same point in time, I have not gained anything from the police.
But
so I don't need the police.
It's not there necessarily to gain you something. It's to like
it's to protect and serve.
A measure of safety. And if you don't, and even if you don't like the way that your law enforcement is working within your respective county, then you elect a sheriff who will hold the same ideals as you do for wherever you're at.
As a 7-year-old?
I mean,
because I couldn't vote as a 7-year-old when I called the cops.
I don't mean in that.
I was that little girl, Joe.
Yeah,
I was that little girl.
Damn. Hey, you want to? Okay.
That's all I got to say for the next 4 years.
Yeah, you dropped that. I think you need to give context for the viewers at home.
That is my absolute favorite quote from her Imperial Rulerness, Kabbalah Hamlet. And the most amazing thing to me about this new federatancy, about the new administration, of all the amazing firsts that I've seen, okay? We have a sitting federant who was actively called a racist by the sitting vice president.
So
that's nuts.
So
I mean, I was that little girl, Joe. Oh, never
Yeah.
mind. I'll take the VP seat.
Yeah, pretty much.
What was the context of that quote?
Huh?
The context.
She was talking about at the Democratic debate. She went in on him. I mean, she went in on him. People were dogging him so bad. They were like, Kamala's got it. She's got it. There's no way Joe's gonna get it. She destroyed him because everybody went in on his ass. And but she was talking about the bill he passed about, I think it had to do with like busing and with segregation of schooling. I don't want to quote it because I mean it's some California BS. It's whatever.
Okay.
And apparently he voted for something, and she was basically saying when she was young, and who knows if it's true, because I mean, of course, when she was she was smoking weed in college, even though to listening to Snoop, even though Snoop wasn't out yet. But they, according to her, you know, the kids on the bus that were forced to go to these other schools or something, and that was a problem. You know, it caused, you know, it was a racial problem, yada yada. After just pretty much calling them racist and all this other shit under the sun. And her big thing was in her big little speech, she had that shit written up. It was something about, you know, and the kids that were forced to go and do this and yada yada. And the little girl in that bus, I was that little girl, Joe. I was that little girl, basically telling him that she directly affected her life as a child, as a black child coming up. And just, I mean, went in on his ass so hard, and everybody just forgot about it.
And then fucking flips the script, and it's like, we know Joe. You know Joe. I know Joe. We all know Joe.
We all know Joe. We all know he's a racist scumbag, but I mean, he's not
that's
Trump.
why I can't have respect for her.
Right.
Like, as a woman, as a human, as
he wanted to be president so bad that she's sucking her enemy's dick.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
And I even said that. I said, you know, I didn't have any respect for her as a DA and what she did to the community out there and all of that. I had no respect. But from the art of war standpoint, which is how I look at politics, any respect that I did have for her as a warlord went out the window when she took the vice presidency, because then I'm like, well, damn, now I have absolutely no respect for you because you know.
Yep.
You went and licked the boot.
You went and licked the boot.
Well, you kind of have to do that to a degree. If you want to get something out of the political game, you have to placate politics.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because I wanted to go back from where you went into when y'all were going a minute ago about, you know, law enforcement and what have you. And it's a really good point, because you're, you know, wondering if Phil was speaking directly anarchism. You know, anarchism is not a system. People are like, you're not, it's left, it's right, you're not, but you're this kind of. Anarchism is not a system. It means anti-archon. I don't want a leader. If I want a leader, I will say, you lead me in this project. You lead me in this. I volunteer you to do that, but you are not going to assign me shit. You're not going to come to me and say, this is the dude we're listening to now. You know, and that's a subvertive way. Instead of me coming to you like a monarch saying, you're going to listen to me coming to you like a politician saying, we're going to listen to him. You know, it's the same shit, you know. So you have to go, so many of these political ideologies and these little issues are surface level. They're right here. And you can go back and forth all day about, well, if they did sit there, because people don't they look at cops, fuck the police. They don't talk about law enforcement. People were talking about ACAB, you know, defund police. They didn't say defund law enforcement. Law enforcement is codes. Law enforcement is child services, you know, all that stuff. None of those people were saying the same thing about them coming and taking your kids away. They want to protect the kids on the border, and they want to fucking throw cops out that are on the street getting shot at or shooting at people, either way you look at it. But the lady that comes in the suit with the sheriff, because that's what a sheriff does, that's the big difference. Sheriff's not a regular cop. They're elected.
Right.
You can get rid of them, supposedly, but they can also stand to be much more crooked. It's a whole
Without
different operation.
Without a united federal government, or without at least like a state by state government, and
well, it's two different things,
right? But you wouldn't be able to keep, like, I know what you mean in the sense that if everyone could act accordingly, but I feel that it isn't necessarily like
right.
For example, like gangs might really get out of hand or something. And
right. It's very easy to walk down that path, because if you don't dismantle it far back enough, you end up in the Wild West. And that's what everybody says, the Wild West argument. Well, let's just be the Wild West. Everybody run around with guns and blah, 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 and you do it. Not every damn city in the West was Wild West. Otherwise, it would have never happened.
Right.
It'd still be ape shit out there, you know, and it's, I don't know, we're not going out west. I mean, it is now, but that's for a whole political based reason. Right. You know, now it's just gone to hell. But, you know, it's not the lawlessness, it's the overregulation that's fucking driving it down. You know, The idea is that, yes, you had that going on, and yes, there was a problem, but you already had government intervention going on. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So you got to go all the way back to looking at other systems, really looking at other systems of structure. People forget about monarchy. They talk about communism this, socialism that, capitalism this, blah, 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 democracy. They forget about like how most shit got ran. Monarchy, authoritarian fucking rule, militant rule. You're doing the shit because you don't want to die.
Right.
And yet it's not that you're gonna starve to death. That might be, at least that's a long way out. You might just get offed by whatever for whatever. But
Off with his head.
right. So it's you have to go all the way back to the idea of what we can all agree on. And people are like, well, that's like democracy. No,
Mm-hmm.
democracy is mob rule. You know what a pure democracy is? A lynching.
Yep.
Absolutely. Everybody says no. I know he got determined that he was not guilty, but most of us in this town decided he was. So we're all going to band together and hang him. That's democracy,
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's against that kind of shit. So, whether or not, right, whether or not
as a
you
black
get,
man.
yeah, whether or not you all get together and appoint some other dude to take the rap for it, it's the same concept. All you're doing is passing the buck, and that's what makes government get fatter. You pass the buck more, so nobody's got to take the blame, and shit gets washed into it, and then it becomes a big money machine.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes a big churn machine. People are like, well, it's not about the money. Yeah, it's not really money as we think about it. It's capital. That's where the ism in capitalism makes capitalism bad. And everybody's like, you're a capitalist. And say, well, no, I'm not really an ist with it.
Mm-hmm.
Capitalism or a capital based free market is what the default is. That means me and you, not anybody else. Me and you with what we got, not somebody else making sure it's yada yada and then taking a cut.
Mm-hmm.
Free trade.
Free trade. That's a
Free
true
trade.
free market. So that is all the major things that we have to deal with when it comes to crime. So everybody goes back to crime, lawlessness. All right. Well, what are we really worried about? Violence, theft. All right. Theft of hard property, real estate, real property,
Right.
not theft of ideas. It's hard to defend your idea.
Mm-hmm.
You can defend it somebody. It's harder to keep somebody from spreading it once they spread it.
I'll let you finish, but I want to come back to this in a minute because you and I earlier were talking about how there are ways to defend intellectual property,
Right.
but it's not as simple as,
Yeah.
putting it behind the law.
Get off my lawn.
Right. Yeah.
So, anyway, go ahead.
You can't steal my ideas.
Yeah. And so, and this is what I bring up, and I've been, I get into it with a lot of, I've had a Marxist page threw me off for bringing this up, and they all went silent. They were ragging me up and down on some shit. And finally, one of them got bold enough to said, they were talking about, policing problem. And they said, well, why don't you have some kind of solution? Which kind of cracked me up because not one of them did. This is a, complete bitch page about blah, blah, blah,
Right.
And I said, all right, well, let's start with victimless crime. And I wrote a nice paragraph breaking it down, not giving them not saying this will absolutely fix everything. It was saying this is where we can begin. We need to fix the judicial system. And we start with removing victimless crime. And they went silent. They didn't rag on me, but of course they didn't want to discuss that because it was a solution, and they don't want to discuss a solution with an anarchist. They were Marxists.
Right.
It was all about bashing me out. And that's a lot of our problem we've run into as a society now is it's that schoolboy, I got to raise my hand first and be the one that, and if somebody's smarter, I got to shoot them down or they're quick, instead of being progressive and say, oh, that's a great idea. You ever think about this?
Yeah.
You got to,
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's looking for a win. It's not about
Right.
communication.
Right. So when you have that, and that's what the government's based on, a win. That's why victimless crime exists. They can win it.
Right.
There's no victim there. How can you prove that? Well, we prove it because you can't legalese your way out of this,
Right.
and you still got to pay court costs if you do. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's just ridiculous with that. So you wipe away victimless crime, you end up left with theft and violence.
Right.
All right. Most people I know don't really commit theft and violence.
Nope. And at that point, there's nothing to worry about. Everybody's too
And
busy living for themselves.
and we'll go back to our personal dealings with police intervention. Phil talked about the police being called to deal with violence. I call the police to deal with theft. It did me nothing. Absolutely nothing. Their detective called me and sounded stressed because it sounded like he had cases on his desk and they can't do anything. And he's just like, if you have any more information, just please let us know. Because their numbers are going through the roof of what they can't solve. Because they don't do a thing. There's nothing that they're there to do. They're there to generate income for the state. And to come out and do that, they're more likely to come in your house and give you a citation for something and feel successful for pulling that. Because they're not going to catch the dude that kicked your door in.
Nope.
It sounds
Unless,
like
Look around your house and try and find whatever they can get you on.
right.
That guy's not there anymore.
Oh, wait, they kicked in your back door? That means it's unlocked, right? So I can just walk in without a warrant.
Right. The minute, I mean, they walk around and try to tell me left and right, well, it's got to be somebody this, but I mean, because, they're pointing out this and that, and they're not, I'm looking at them going, y'all aren't even really paying attention to what happened here. Y'all aren't really asking me anything.
Right.
I've already fixed half of what, I've already had to like clean up a bunch of crap because this is the next day when they all decided to show up
Right.
after I call them. And I'm going, y'all, what are y'all even doing here now? There's nothing you can do. You can catch some prints here. Here's some shit that might have gotten touched. And of course, they called me months later. And, I mean,
Yeah.
So, I mean, my old studio got broke into. I knew who it was by midnight. I didn't have to call the cops.
Mm-hmm.
And even if I did, it would have done me no good. Even if I pointed and named them to the cops, it would have done me no good.
I mean, if you had supporting evidence for them to follow up on, then it would have done you some good. But
well, that's just it.
That's what you would want, and
right.
You don't want them to go kicking down somebody's door just because they said, "Hey, that guy stole something from me."
Right. Exactly. I don't want anybody doing that, but I will deal with that myself, and I know better than to go kick the dude's door in.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to deal with those things pretty much the same way a real detective would deal with it. It's just there's no need to hit them up and get the state involved.
Right.
And
that's my thing is like if something happens between, David or I or Neif and I or you and I, Alex, that is between the two of us, not between me, you, and the state, or me, you, and the government, or me, you, and Neif, or me, you, and David. That's between you and I.
A business transaction should every time be between two people.
Right.
Your decision to go outside the grounds puts another person in the position of going outside the grounds. That's what NAP is all about. People are like, oh, I put up that shit, and people are like, oh, I like naps too, and I'm like, no, that's not what NAP. That's not what we're talking about. Even though it is kind of like, instead of getting pissed and killing you, I'm gonna go take a nap. It's not the non-aggression principle, which doesn't mean a pacifism, and that's what it's specifically why I said that. It's not a pacifist. It's not somebody that's going to let you kick their ass. Right. It's somebody that is not looking to be aggressive, but is absolutely willing to use you, turn you into fertilizer if you come fucking around on their where their pissing ground is.
And what happens for the people who can't protect themselves?
Well,
then they get run over by the herd of elk.
Yeah, they get run over by the herd of elk.
So this is like survival of the fittest, dog kind of system.
Now think about this: dogs run in packs. So do dogs really eat dog?
No, your dogs create a system of governance for their own tribe.
They create a gang,
right?
Basically.
Well, it's a pack. It's pack mentality,
right?
And you go by what your natural instinct is, and our natural instinct is not to run by this. Our natural instinct is to set up an archon as to say. That's why anarchy is not a system.
Mhm.
It is the default. People are like, well, archons naturally exist. We can get into some Jordan Peterson with that shit too, you know. But you naturally will set up. A lion has a pride.
Mhm.
The problem is humans want to conveniently base ourselves around different animals. We want to, you know, we only eat the fucking ugly ones. You know, we only represent ourselves through the convenient ones. Well, you know, I mean, these animals live that way. And I'm like, well, these animals fucking rape and kill each other. You
Right.
know, does that mean that that could possibly be our, you know, and that's what a lot of it goes back to is what are we supposed to be doing? And that's, I run into that with everybody. I run into that with nutrition people talking about
Man,
it. I'm like, well, what are we supposed, I can't get
We're
straight answers.
evolutionarily, you mean?
We're
Or
supposed to be minding our business.
exactly.
Exactly.
We are
Mine,
supposed to do what benefits ourselves within the grounds of not hurting someone else.
Mm.
That's it.
if you want to be selfish, we can all think that that's a shitty thing to do, but we shouldn't change that.
No, we cannot tell
You're
you it
not
is not okay.
you're not and people are like, well, what if they're so selfish they're keeping from others? Well, then you would have to be stepping into my pissing ground.
Right.
You know, you can only take so much from your pissing ground.
Right.
You step outside of it, you know. So, and the people that can't defend themselves usually have families, and that's where you get into everybody came from something.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those
And
things where it's like in that situation, you either go make a tribe or you join one. And
right,
And then honestly, the if you look at the way that we tend to, as you brought up before, Neef, you know, it comes back to what you instinctively want to, or, you know, what comes instinctually. You know, we do band together, we do start families, but that is to the extent in which our power should end,
right,
to ours and our own. And that is where it becomes, because you know the government is not mine. It
mm-mm,
is not of my own. No one in the government is related to me, at least not close enough for it to
right,
matter. You know, so at that point, they are not my family. They are not my tribe. They are not a part of my hearth. They are other people.
right,
And at that point, it becomes neither my responsibility nor my right to dictate what they do. It is
exactly.
only my right to dictate what is to be done with mine and my own.
Right. And your own, if you have a family and they decide to tell you you are our leader, that's completely up to them. If you decide you want to go follow somebody,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that's a lot of people think, well, if nobody's, you know, so I'm not saying that. There, people will commune together and decide, look, we don't want to live completely lawless. We're all going to agree on this. And if you wanted a voting system and everybody decides they want a fucking voting system, that's fine. But if somebody decides they don't want it, they don't need to be drug out into the street and hung, you know,
Right. Yeah.
just because they decided they still wanted to grow vanilla bean when y'all just wanted to make chocolate.
Right. And
Uh,
it's funny that you bring that up, because like that's really all it, like it's really, it's not all that petty, but like it really is though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's really just petty as bullshit.
Think
Mhm.
about taxes. Think about everybody. Think about all the issues. Everybody wants laws passed not to prevent anybody from doing bad. It's to get government funds shifted to
Another, yeah.
their interest,
Hmm.
or to get government regulation pulled away from what they're trying to do or added to what their opponent is trying to do. You know, it's a tool. Government becomes a tool for business in a capitalist system. That's why it makes capitalism look bad. It's not the capitalism.
Hmm.
It's like people tell me, well, socialism isn't bad. You'd agree with a lot of socialism. Well, socialism isn't a government system. It's an economic system, just
Yeah.
like capitalism.
Right.
That's why, of course, I believe that we should be giving. Now, should somebody show up to my house and take my shit to go get it? No.
No.
But I'm a good person. I like to think I was taught to fucking give when I can, you know, and people that actually know me know that I'd give them the shirt off my back, you know. So we've run into a society now where, especially with social media, everybody's so quasi know each other. And so you end up getting people talking to you like the kid in the classroom, where it's like when y'all were on the bus on the way to school, y'all were kind of cool, but y'all wasn't in the same clique when you got to school. So he's ragging your ass from the back of the classroom,
Right.
you know. But oh, it's all cool, but it ain't, because this ain't fucking high school. You know, this is politics that are affecting policy, that are allowing jackboots to do things. And that's, you have, the police are not there to protect and serve. It was actually deemed by the damn fucking Supreme Court they're not here to protect and serve. That's why you don't see it on the cars anymore. They
Oh, did
removed
they
it.
take that off the cars?
They take, because they saw it as a servitude thing, and people would hem them up and say, you're supposed to be out here guarding me,
Right.
you know, and protecting
Or
me. And it would
protecting-
put them in a situation, if you got your ass shot up and there's a cop nearby, you could sue the damn police department because they didn't protect you,
Oh wow.
you know. So, and or they didn't show up to serve you when you're broke down on the side of the road, you know. And which is kind of funny is, you broke down on the side of the road, instead of showing up to make sure you're safe, they'll show up to go through your goddamn trunk.
Yep. Make sure you ain't got
They'll
nothing.
they'll strip the car down worse, and if they don't find nothing, leave it fucking stripped down while you got to piece it back together yourself on the side of the fucking road, and in danger, with fucking semis whizzing by, you know.
I mean, there are some asshole cops that do that shit, but not all of them are like that.
It's very common, very 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 common.
I think that's the problem when you kind of say things like that too, is like, I agree with you. Not all police are
Yeah.
like that. There are good agents and there are bad agents in every walk of life. However, it is a lot. And that's why people are bringing
It's
it up.
systemic.
If you remove, that's exactly what the systemicness is it's not so much racism. There are a lot of fucking racist cops, I'm sure, because people that become cops that are not good people, or not inherently good cops,
Mhm.
are people with these type of issues, having deep-seated racism, xenophobia, name it. You
There are a
know,
lot of black
It
cops
just it
too.
gives them a life.
Like,
There are.
there's a lot of black racist cops, I'm sure. You know, I mean, that's the thing is, you know, I mean, when you want to get into numbers, people talk about, they want to toss a number around. There's more white folks killed by cops every year. And then they're like, well, that's because there's more white folks in the country, which actually proves all the other bullshit statistics to be bullshit too, because then you're saying, well, then that means nothing is really out of proportion.
Out of proportion, yeah.
And why are we even focusing on that? Because if we get rid of the problem,
more
then
white people
takes care
die
of
at the hands of police. I think the last I checked, black people
Yeah.
die disproportionately.
Right. It's, and, you know, and it works out like, you know, they're like, well, if there was this as many, it would be way more. And if we're focusing on that, that keeps us from focusing on shutting the problem down. If we take care of the problem, all the people quit getting shot by the cops. It's not just, we don't want just black people to stop getting shot by the cops. It's
Right.
just, it just sucks that it's
Nobody.
so bad that you can get pulled over for driving while black. You know,
Right.
I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. You know,
It's gone past just
right.
It's a systemic problem. It
Right.
has other areas, but
When you don't give people that kind of power,
right,
in the first place.
yeah. No, I'm with that. David, I would like to ask specifically how many, and could you describe, maybe if there are a few, your experiences with the police?
I primarily have experience personally with state troopers of my respective state of Tennessee. I know about, I don't deeply know them, but I've worked with state troopers department installing wraps on their vehicles for a good 3 to 4 years now, and uh, I've gotten into some good conversations with quite a few of them, and from the, it's not to say that, you know, I just feel like cops are too easily
Demonized.
because you look at a select minority of cops who are bad actors, and blow them up, just like anyone does to try to, misrepresent whatever they're trying to go against. And as it's not integral with who every cop is as a person necessarily.
Right.
I get you.
Well, yeah, I've met cops like working shows that were working security, so they were off duty, but they can't do that no more apparently. And they just be uniformed, actually about to go on shift, making extra money. And I talked to some that were cool.
Mhm.
I mean, they sat and shot the shit with me and talked about smoking weed.
Yeah.
But the idea behind that is, and let me go to your point, David, with state troopers, I have found in general, for one thing, they're state police, which is actually a federal level kind of thing. It's kind of like it's not a street cop, it's not metro or your standard county cop, a police. That is where when they talk about systemic race problems and just power hungry, power trip problems, that's where the main issue is. And you have more of them than you have any other kind of cop because you have bigger, cities, they're your standard police. State troopers, I have found in the times I've been pulled over by them in general are looking out for more safety on the highway because that's what they're there to do.
I was gonna
Right.
say, Neif, let me break in real here.
Yeah, go ahead.
But to be fair, right before that, state troopers were cops before they were state troopers to begin with. So they were
Right.
just pulled from the general pool and applied for that.
But
That's
how
all.
many straight state troopers are there, like, per
Right.
cop? It's like one good cop becomes a
But
straight.
it's not that it's
Right.
one good cop.
It's like
There's many good
now
cops.
we know why they got shitty.
Not
All
like,
the good cops are state troopers.
Right.
But not every good cop aspires to necessarily be a state trooper. They might be totally satisfied with
Right.
keeping
Right.
A
their
straight
own
cop
squeeze
or a
clean,
detective.
whatever.
Another
Yeah.
huge fucking problem I have is like they might not all be bad actors, but it really looks that way when one person does something bad and the whole fucking unit defends them.
Takes up
Right.
for him. Yep.
Right.
Like
Because
at that point
you're
you are
guilty
all
by
bad.
association.
At
Yeah,
that
you're
point you
guilty.
all are
No,
pieces of shit.
how do it doesn't.
Well, I also saw
That's the same
a
thing as if someone says like, well, look at the black crime rate versus white crime, and it's like, well, you could say it's a result of systemic racism,
Right.
which makes sense, but you wouldn't say, more black people are violent than white people on average, so all black people are violent.
That's not what I'm
It
saying.
wouldn't be a
well,
fair assessment.
actually, right. What you're talking about is breaking it into a demographic, and it's the same concept because we're talking about that exact thing. All state troopers are selected. There's a much smaller proportion of state troopers, the percentage of state troopers compared to regular street cops. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the percentage is. I don't know those kind of numbers, but it's got to be a fraction as far as how many exist. They are also tasked with a different job. Police, as far as we speak of when we say in general, police, we're talking about street cops that are to the point now where they are literally trying to generate income. They're told you need to go find crime.
Mhm.
You have to find crime. You're not investigating crime, you're finding
Finding.
crime.
Mhm.
And that is a problem.
Not crime fighters, crime finders.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
And when you have a bunch of nonviolent crimes to list off, it makes it real fucking easy.
That's a
So,
lot more money.
and then that's what you're incited by. So now you've decided to go get this job that, yeah, you want to do good for the public and keep it safe, but you're also going to be making money and making your money and your advancement off of extortion,
Mhm.
basically extorting people off of nonviolent
Yeah.
crime. Because if you don't, because of your body cam now, you can be charged, thrown out the force, they'd shun you. Oh, you're out there not letting people go. They're not going to defend you for that,
Right.
but it's going to be quiet.
So
Like anything else, I mean, if they do get charged, people do, it happens. I watch video footage. It's kind of nice to watch a cop get walked. And a lot of time they walk them and they'll walk in their office when they're in there, like getting ready to go out or something. And 3 or 4 of them walk in and they kind of quietly, they'll shut the door and they sit him down and they cuff his ass and they're like, you getting charged with yada yada. And they keep it quiet.
Mm-hmm.
But the dude gets hit and they fire his ass and they're like, and then they just kind of, you don't hear nothing about it. Not that that's even right. I think if you're going to do that, you should do double time. I think if you're a law enforcement, if you hold a position of office, you should not be paid any more than a minimum wage ever. And if you commit a crime under the color of law, it should double the maximum penalty.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny that you. Oh, go ahead, Alex.
No, go ahead, man.
I was gonna say it's funny that you brought that up about how you see these cops being charged with things, and it's quiet, but yet we still can't. It took Breonna Taylor's murderers, because that's what they are. They broke into her home and shot her,
Right.
like. And look at what it took to, I don't even know. I'm not even sure if they have been charged yet. I haven't kept up with it, but I knew there was a while going on there where that was an issue, and it's like, that is a big problem. And that's where, and it's the street cops are the ones doing this stuff. It's not, it's not law enforcement.
Right.
It's police.
Sheriff departments have been known to be pretty corrupt, and that's a different area. So you got different areas.
Go ahead.
That was the other point that I was going to jump back on. That was that people aren't considering law enforcement and the judicial system altogether. If, like I'm saying, they actually got charged for every crime they commit to a maximum, do you really think we'd have this many problems?
Fuck no.
No.
If a cop
Hell
thought,
no.
oh shit, if I assault this person, I'm going to get mandatory twice maximum.
Hell no. There would be no way they'd be doing that shit.
Yeah.
It'd be over.
Now, how many politicians do you think would be crooked as fuck if they couldn't make more than minimum wage? Show me how you care for this country. You don't need to make more than a fucking minimum wage. If you're going to have a minimum wage, why are politicians make any more than that? They can give themselves a fucking raise.
Yep. And that's the thing a lot of people forget too, is that politicians are there to serve us. They are elected there to do what we tell them, not what they tell themselves.
It's a funny thing that we forgot that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean,
Like-
again, you elect officials within your respective state or county, though, that hold the ideologies that you would have.
But look at Trump. He got elected and he committed several crimes. Where is he in prison? No.
I
Why?
mean, do any of them ever go? No.
No. Exactly.
Dude, what
Like,
about Trump?
Hillary went to trial.
I was just
we didn't
about
even
to
hear
say-
about it.
I was just about
Yeah.
to say Hillary.
Yep.
Like
Nixon.
Trump too, but Hillary is like a huge fucking criminal, like global criminal.
Nixon got impeached.
I
too,
mean,
think it was.
I'm not saying that. Actually, I think the Clintons are a great
Oh, yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And
I misspoke.
the Clintons are perfect,
Clinton's are great.
phenomenal humans,
I
great
love them.
people.
Oh shit,
And
guys! I hear
also-
someone at my door. Fuck.
Also, I love my life, and I would never, ever, ever, ever think of
Yeah.
killing myself. If I disappear or wind up dead, it was not suicide. Do not stop investigating.
Neif
Fuck.
didn't kill himself.
Yeah.
Fuck the Clintons and fuck the government and fuck the Democrats and fuck the Republicans and fuck Trump. They all fucking suck. They can all go die somewhere in a hole together. I don't give a shit. You want to come knock at my door with AR-15s, come fucking bring it.
Okay, that's him, not us.
Well, but, see, but Phil, you can get away with saying that.
Why? Because I'm black.
Free country.
Well, duh. I mean,
Oh yeah,
Jesus.
that's true. Okay.
You can say all that stuff. You just can't get in the car and drive down the street.
The white
I can go stroll down the freaking street at 3:00 in the morning, half naked. I just can't be speaking out my political thoughts. You see how it works?
True. That's true. See, that's where your white privilege ends and my black
Right.
privilege begins.
Exactly.
Because I can say whatever I want because everyone expects me to be mad about it.
Right.
So I've never called the police except by a butt dial, But but the one time where a
I'm
roommate,
still here. I'm changing rooms.
one time a roommate of mine had a theft issue and called the police, and they showed up, filed a report, and did absolutely nothing about it, right? So that's my negative interactions with police. Now, many times I've dealt with police in my vehicle, and I can honestly say I haven't had any aggressive experiences with police. A lot of times police have been really cool with me. Like, I know how to talk to cops, but like in that situation where you're getting pulled
Right.
over. But that's the best thing I can say, is that most of the time that I've been pulled over, nothing bad has happened. Now I have gotten write-ups and had to pay fines that I disagreed with, right? It's like, I don't, and then there's valid ones too. Like, you get caught speeding. It's like, okay, that exists as a law for a reason. You're putting other people at risk. You're putting other people at risk of danger. Okay. Okay. So we can debate that. Like, there's the Autobahn. So maybe we don't need speed limits, but, what I'm saying is that's the best thing I have to say about police, is most of the time I've dealt with them, I haven't been mistreated.
Sound like somebody's white privilege is showing.
Yeah.
And that's,
Well, that is, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, because I know Black people that do not have the same experience as me, and that's unfortunate.
I've had, I haven't had too many dealings with the police. I called the police one time. I got stopped by the police. I've been stopped by the police a couple times driving, and both of those were pretty, pretty good. And nothing happened out of, that I would say left me in any sort of jaded place.
Were you pulled over for any other reason?
Yeah, I was pulled over for a taillight being out, and
Right, which
I
is
pulled
the
over.
standard BS.
Right, and then I got pulled over because I turned right on red when I wasn't supposed to.
Right.
So none of those had any, it was literally just me not, it was just normal stuff. And then I got stopped by the police once. I was walking to the gas station, and I saw a car, and so I went to the the opposite side of the road, and it was really slow, so I turned around to look at it, and it was a cop car, and they stopped me and asked me what I was doing and asked me what I had in my pockets and stuff like that.
Wow.
And I just told them, I was like, look, I'm going to the gas station. I was like, I have my wallet, I have my phone, I have a pocket knife in this pocket in my my hoodie. I was like, if you want to see any of that, you can come and get it. You can come and get out of the car and get it. And they were just like,
Phil's about to lift his shirt and show us the 6 fucking rounds he took.
Right?
And that's
like,
when
that's
about the time that 380 just sprayed across my chest.
But most of my dealings with the police has been relatively pleasant as well.
I mean, that story right there tells me a lot, though.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing
You
is,
got profiled and stopped for no reason.
Right.
But that was a minority of the experiences that he had with police. So that was
I've had the exact same thing happen to me.
it's less than
Less than
average.
I mean, well, that's the same thing, Neif. It's not racist, but you got profiled. You look scared to them.
I mean, I was harassed when I was 19, skateboarding downtown in the middle of the night by 2 female cops. And they tried to tell us which way to go when we left.
Yeah.
They were like, well, don't go back that way. And I literally was like, well, we're parked this way anyway, so we're not going back that way. But it's not because you're telling me not to. I'll go where the fuck I want.
Right.
And say, well, it gets dangerous. I said, well, you guys are out here. We should be fine.
Oh,
right. Yeah, like if anything, you're the only danger around.
Right.
I mean, they might have really been trying to help you, because if they're police in that general area, then they probably know of crimes and like people get murdered in that area.
They weren't. I can guarantee you they weren't. We were at a gas station that was closed, but it had vending machines in the back that were gated, so you could still use them. So we weren't trespassing. I was purchasing, and we were standing. We both had skateboards. Me and my buddy, who's not alive anymore, rest his soul, who died in the hands of police.
Wow.
We were standing there with our skateboards. I had bought some Fig Newtons. I remember that because I remember telling her when she was searching me. I was like, back there, I got some Fig Newtons. She goes, well, I don't want your Fig Newtons. I was like, well, good, because I want them, bitch.
Because
Goddamn.
I bought them. They're
Bitch, I
mine.
bought them motherfuckers. You can take my Fig Newtons. And I mean, we didn't have shit on us because I mean, we were skating, you know.
Right.
And they're like, well, what are y'all? And we're like, we're skating. And, well, why y'all out so late? I'm like, because it's a summer night. It's
Right.
prime time. There's no traffic down here. This is downtown Nashville 20 some odd years ago. And there wasn't traffic like it was in the middle of the fucking night. And it was a nice summer night. It was fucking prime skate time. And we weren't in the middle of the goddamn road skating or nothing. Nobody had called and said we were doing anything. We had literally parked downtown and skated all the way to West End. And we were on our way back, stopped there to get a drink and a Fig Newton. Chick cop pulls up, and then another chick cop pulls in with her. And I thought they were just like, hey, you all right? And we're like, yeah, cool, you know, we good. And she's like, well, hold on, guys. And then her friend pulls up, and then she gets out the car and is like, step over here for me. And we're like, what the fuck? You know? And it was just
like, and I don't
straight bullshit search down for nothing.
And
I don't
Absolutely
think
not. And then when we went to leave,
that.
she goes, well, when y'all, it's dangerous out here. And we're like, well, we're both like 19-year-old skaters. We're not fucking little pusses. And you guys are out here. There's literally two of y'all right here.
Right. Who's gonna fuck with us with the cuff?
We feel really, really even more safe now. We've been out all damn night. We're actually on it. And she was like, when y'all leave, make sure y'all go down that way, which was kind of messed up. Was she was sending us to what was an old Broadway. This is before Broadway had gotten really built back up, where we had parked. And she was sending us to what was a more dangerous side of town. She was trying to, which where we parked in. When we knew that, she
you
just didn't know.
hooligans stay out of the nice area.
Right.
Don't you be skating in this neighborhood. So
Yeah,
in both of your case,
yeah.
in your story, Phillip, and in Neif's story, both of you got profiled. And I don't mean that it's not a racial thing, but you either looked poor or sketchy.
Right.
Or they were bored.
Or just they were bored.
Bored. Yeah.
And now
I'm
and
gonna
like
take a piss. I'll be back.
with my situation, since it was so long ago, it was probably more of a boredom, you know. They just want to fuck with us. With you, Phil, it could have been racial profiling. It also could have been what I talk about when I talk about the revenue generation, where they're just looking to find a crime.
For something. Right.
They're like, if this dude, you know, people are like, well, they don't have the right to search you. Well, if you give them too much info and you don't shut the fuck up and you let them search you and they find something, when you're in court, the judge ain't trying to hear that shit.
Right.
You gotta be able to afford a fucking attorney. But if your ass had to bail out and they got you in there for fucking 3 weeks waiting trial.
Yep. And see, for me, you know, I don't think it was racial profiling either, because they approached me from behind. I had a hood up. There was no way they could have known that I was black.
Right.
There's no way.
Right.
So, you know, it wasn't until I turned around and engaged them that they became aware.
But you had your hoodie up, walking around at night up to no good.
You know where that was, Alex?
What?
That was in Colombia.
Oh, for real?
Colombia.
Yeah. That was in Colombia. And I was terrified because I think that's what
you mean down here?
And Joey.
Yeah, Colombia.
Joey told me.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I would have been terrified.
I thought I was literally gonna die. But no, like, yeah, it's a problem. And like, I understand, like, I mean, if you see somebody walking in the middle of the night, you know, at 10 o'clock at night or whatever, like, yeah, it's a little sketchy maybe.
Right.
But, you know, at the same time, people get a lot worse than what I did for the same thing. Trayvon Martin, I think, was the one that was shot for fucking having Skittles in his pocket or some shit. Like that,
well, like the one that got me was the dude when they told him in front of his kid, it was so bad. Wife and kid, or his baby mama and kid, and they told him to reach for his ID.
Yep.
And he goes to reach for it, and they blasted his ass. And I'm going, what in the fuck, y'all?
Mhm.
That's the thing. Like again,
There's nothing around this with, I mean, all the different, there's a lot of, what's his name that had stole the cigarettes and yada, yada. There was a whole lot of
Yeah.
argument on that one because they're like, well, he did charge the cop and yada, yada. And it's like, then you're talking about how much force should have been used
Right.
rather than any force. In these situations, it's like you were ordering. They're like the dude, the couple with the guy that in the hotel.
Mhm.
That's horrifying. He's on the ground. I
yeah.
mean, it's some
Yeah.
fucking
that one.
square ass looking white couple that
I've seen
you'd
that.
look at them. I mean, they look like somebody that would,
that guy wanted to kill somebody.
yeah. I
Simple
mean,
as, simple as that. That guy wanted to kill somebody.
this couple, when I saw, the footage, I mean, this is one of the worst ones. I hated so bad to watch this because you see them come around the corner and see them, and you look at this couple and you think, if I was standing, if it was me and just my kid in some strange area, and I was like, Jesus, I gotta find somebody to I can trust to watch my child. These were people that I literally could have been like, you know what? I think they might be cool. They'd probably be all right. They'll probably hang out, watch him, and not, I mean, that's
They
how
might try to enforce Christian values on him.
right. I might come back and they'd be like, Hannah, but that's how fucking white, white bread these people look. And he had this motherfucker crawling on the ground with a goddamn rifle trained on his ass.
And then he still shot him.
And he reaches back because his pants are falling down. This dude ain't used to the shit. He's reacting, and the dude's screaming shit at him. I'm gonna fucking kill you. Reach again, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Just dude's wife is freaking the fuck out. And then he lights his ass up. Right there was his wife laying there next to it. And I'm going, that's just horrific. That can be, that right there should freak people out more so than the profiling of Black people, because it's horrible that that's common. Right. But that situation lets you really know that could be any of us.
Yep.
That really could be anybody else, all the way to the most thuggish looking dude down to the most nobody. Yeah. All it takes is that motherfucker that's on a power trip and has the ability. And
if
we
you're
cannot.
I hope if you take anything away from this, I hope it's what we're talking about right now. Is
anybody,
it's not about race. It's about us versus our government. And what they've done is they've got the white people riled up thinking, you have the neo-Nazis, it's the Blacks, it's the Mexicans. And then on the left side, they've got Black people and Mexicans doing the same thing. It's the white people. But really, it's all just puppeteering to keep us from unifying together and making a stand.
I've heard more racist things come out of the mouths of my Black family than I have out of white people that I've been told are racist. That's insane to me.
I mean, it's like I brought up that the most bigoted and prejudiced statement I hear in the South is how the South is prejudiced and bigoted. And I got reamed out for making that statement online. I got reamed up and down by people, called everything under the fucking sun. And I've made that exact same statement to people before and turned their heads around. And they've responded with, I've never even thought about it that way, Neif, But that was almost a one-on-one. I say it in a public group. And because it's high school, it's fucking high school. It's like, oh, wait a minute, he makes sense, but oh man, you ain't supposed to make sense.
We're not supposed to like him. Yeah.
You ain't supposed to like him. He's supposed to be the fucking head. Well, fuck what you gotta say,
Yeah.
And it's
what's funny is these petty high school kids that are playing that social politics, playing that popularity game, they expect you and I to participate in that, to play that game. And
well, why they're playing the social politics is because they can't play real politics,
right?
Because they don't understand it.
Mm-mm.
It's not common knowledge to them. What is common knowledge to
they parrot
us? Yeah,
they either parrot. If they hate their parents, they're gonna fucking go against and say the opposite of it. And if they are cool with their parents because their parents are cool folks, then they're gonna fucking compare what their parents say. Or in the group of their friends, and even if it agrees with their parents and they don't like their parents, they'll find something to fucking hate on their folks for, just like they would anybody else.
Yep.
Just like they'll kick people in and out of their cliques, you know, and they're watching people that didn't mature enough start to run shit, and they're thinking that's really how the shit's supposed to be.
Right.
And that's a problem.
Before I forget again, let me run it back. We were talking about intellectual property and how you can't defend it like physical property. The one way you can defend an idea or a concept is to, or at least one way that you can, is to Alan Watts calls it turning your words into stone, where you say something so often that it becomes synonymous with you. So it's like a catchphrase, right? It's like you're known for saying that thing.
So you come to embody that intellectual property.
Yeah. So like no one can plagiarize Jesus saying treat others how you would like to be treated, because we all know that came from Jesus for the most part, you know.
Right.
So what I'm getting at is, if you want to defend your concept or your idea, you
preach.
Yeah, repetition helps, and also making it distinct enough. So it's like, if someone steals my work, it's really obvious that they stole, like, those are very Alex words. Like, no one else talks like that.
Right.
So it's like, it would just be really obvious.
Yeah. No, I
get you. Yeah, I just wanted to, we can go back to police now. I just want
it's we can hop on that, because that's actually a really good topic. It's really that's a big break point in capitalism and socialism and anarchism and voluntarism and libertarianism. That's a lot of the big break points, is when you get into types of property. And it's really a touchy one to get on. And I see what you're saying on that, Alex, with...
It's not a perfect way to defend it, but it helps.
Well, no. And what it is that's basically like a social copyright. It's kind of the same thing I did with like a band name. If you come up and find a band name, your best bet is to hop on Google and type it in and put band behind it.
Right.
And if you can't find it, then your best bet then is to get you a web page and just write the name of the band. You don't even have to have shit. You just put it on there. And it sits there, and then you make a Facebook and you make an Instagram, and then it's already there. So when other people go to look,
they find
set up their band, they're like, oh, well, somebody's already got that, and they can try to push you out of the way, but the net has printed it. Your web page has a print date. Everything has a print date. And if you spatter it out, like you're saying, now this is the thing, Alex, you know how you erase that ability? With copyright laws. Because I can plagiarize Jesus by converting the words of what he said and say, these are my new version. Or I can actually also prove that, well, Jesus probably ripped that off of Buddha or Lao Tzu.
Okay, so that's interesting. Jesus might not have said that, but because he put that in stone, he stoned that idea.
Right.
Like that's
so is it the idea or the words?
It's the words.
And that's what you're saying, and that's the intellectual property, and that's where people get weird with it.
You're right. It's not an idea; it's words.
Now, when we talk about intellectual property, it's real easy to jump onto music, poetry, writing. You know, what people don't understand is that's the small part. That's nothing. That's absolutely nothing. That barely even affects society. You know what I'm saying? Because of music and the song and the art piece and yada yada, and the idea behind something is what is affecting that area. And everybody hates country music. There ain't no country music fucking song that's going to touch them. It's got to be played like punk. You know what I'm saying? So the concept will still touch people. Real intellectual property issues come with patents on actual technology.
Now, this brings me to a question for you specifically, Neif. Now, does that mean that because like, you know, with your views on anarchy and things like that, do you believe that patents shouldn't exist?
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely not. Okay. And that is a real break point. And a lot of people don't understand that. And this is where a lot of people get anarchism fucked up, because I can argue with the same people I quote. you know, I mean, if they were still alive,
Right.
you know, and they're not all dead white dudes, according to a lot of fucking people. Several of them are ladies that are way more empowered. But anyway,
Well, good on you for not seeing gender.
right.
Oh,
The
I'm hoping to see more of gender, you know.
anarchism does not believe in intellectual property. It believes in real property because I can stand on my pissing ground and run you off with my spear, you know.
Right. But I can't run the words that I've said
But
out of your mouth.
but
Booga,
if
booga,
I'm
booga.
over there, right, if I'm over there playing this song, and that's why it's easy to do that, and you hear it, I can't stop you from hearing it unless I don't play it. See what I'm saying? And if you hear it and you learn it, I'd have to physically go attack you and stop
Kill
you from. And if you do it once, you've already done it
Mm-hmm.
and published it. So therefore, you've published and made it public. So then I can't stop that from happening. And what government does is come in and says, well, now you got to pay somebody. And people are arguing me all day long because they're like, well, you're a musician. Shouldn't you believe in me? I will work the system. If that's how we got to work it, fuck yeah.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to
But
agree with this.
I don't necessarily try to make money off of my music. I will make money off selling a t-shirt.
Right.
Or I will make money selling the record. That's why you go to my damn website and listen to my music. You should be able to hear it for free. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe if more people went and checked it out, they would tell me I can't hear your shit for free. But anyway,
That's kind of
you know,
like
that would
I
be
might
at
not agree with-
theneif.com.
Plug.
Neif.com.
Neif.com. So no, anarchism is not about intellectual property, and that's where socialists are like, "Wow, really? Awesome!" And I'm like, "Yeah, but we're all about real property." And they're like, "Oh shit!" But a lot of socialists don't realize that they are about intellectual property and not about real property, because socialism puts so much in the control of the government. When you invent something, they grab hold of it, and that's technically patent laws. Technically, are a type of socialist policy. Because people don't understand what a patent does. You don't have to patent your item. All right. So say, well, let's go back to the tundra. All right. You're over in your, you're over in your little ville, and I'm over on my little, my little grotto, and I'm scoping out, and you're building this device, some irrigation device. And I'm like, shit, that would help me out too. Hey man, hey Phil, why don't you show me how to build that? And you're like, yeah, I could do that, but why don't you give me some cattle? And I'm like, man, fuck, I don't,
Mm-hmm.
So I could say, sure, and give you some cattle, and then you show me how to do it. Now I know it. That's all you'll ever make off of it, which is fine. That's a free trade.
Yep.
If you were to try to say, well, yeah, I'm going to show you this, but as long as you're using it, you got to give me a cow every week. I'm like, well, fuck that nonsense. Once you show me how to use it, you have to physically enforce that or have somebody else do so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
okay.
Let's say I say, all right, well, fuck that then. You know what? I don't need your shit. I'm going to figure it out on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And I sit there and I stand over there. I don't break on to walk over there. I just stand there and I watch, and he's got to open it up one day to work on it. So he's trying to hide it from me best, but I fucking managed to figure it out, right? And I build it. And I decide, you know what? I'm not going to hold it to myself. I'm going to go down there and I'm going to sell it flat out to dude, because he wanted to charge me a cow every week to just use this shit. And he's going to fucking hassle me for it. I'm just going to go tell a dude, hook me up with a little grain every now and again. I'll show you how to build this shit and help everybody out. Now Phil's pissed. He's like, God damn, man, I could have made a fortune off that. And he doesn't run off of my fucking idea. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The government entity comes along and says, look, if you could prove to us that you designed that, we'll back you up and go and violently enforce him to give you your just due for your property, but for you to be able to prove that you designed it, you must provide us public and the public all the plans on how your device was built.
Yeah, fuck that.
So the fact that he has the know-how is irrelevant now. We're just going to go find him. We're going to make some money off of it too, make him give you some shit. And then anybody else that uses your device, if they sell your device, they have to give you a cut. But if somebody decides to build it on their own and just use it for their own, we can't really do shit about that because we're not trying to go enforce that. Sorry. That's patent law.
Right.
You ever see a device that you want that's patented and you don't want to spend 9,000 billion, whatever the fuck for it? Look up its patent number and you will find exactly how it's made in a breakdown. That's how I find schematics. Yeah.
And you can go make it yourself and use it for yourself as long as you don't sell it.
Right. Yep.
Yep.
Now, if you do make it and you figure out how to like switch this over here and do this over here and yada yada, you can repatent it as a different fucking machine.
Mm-hmm.
And
just redesign the wheel.
That's what they do when they reverse engineer, you know, airplanes
Exactly.
and shit like that. Like, it's all
when you get into electronics, when electronic circuitry started getting built, that's a whole other concept. Mechanics is very physics based. It doesn't get, I mean, it's very broad and there's a lot of crazy shit going on in physics and mechanics, but it's pretty figured out. You know what I'm saying? When electronics came along, circuitry, integrated circuitry, transistors, all that kind of shit, these new ideas, these new technologies are coming up. So people are having a patent. Somebody says, well, I can build that same thing, but it using the circuits different. So you got to patent it for me too, right?
Yeah.
Then you ran into that. That was a whole hell of some shit through the 70s.
Cars are a pretty big
Then
example of
computer programming hit. And you all of a sudden had songs or novels, writing, published words that were worth way more than any fucking goddamn thing that was ever written because it was code. That's a whole nother thing. And that is when you had the cyberpunk revolution or the anarchism when on the cyberpunk deal, what that really is, information should be free.
Mhm.
And it's the freedom of information is what really means. And not only should it not cost us anything, it should not be caged. No one should hold more information than someone else because knowledge is power, and that is the true power grab. If you have knowledge, if everybody was on a level playing field and had the knowledge, then it has your own aptitude, your own ability, your own.
Which that's not to say that teachers shouldn't make money. It's like if you teach someone something, you know, that's more than telling someone something. Teaching someone something is different.
But it's
you know,
it's an agreed contract.
learning a discipline is knowledge is what we're talking about. Knowledge should be freely available, not that it's forced down your throat because maybe you want to learn different things than me. But those avenues are available, and I totally agree. And that's a huge thing with us on this show is the free distribution of knowledge.
Ideal, not knowledge, yeah.
That's that Prometheus.
Yeah. But
so in that instance, Neif, when you were talking about, you know, because it's very common knowledge that violence is pretty much the go-to for for a lot of law enforcement.
that's what the government has. What we say, one of the anarchist, I guess, statements that we always bring up is the government has a monopoly on violence or violent force. In other words, they're the only one that can act violently. And people think of violence as kicking your teeth in, but it also means forcing you to pay money.
Right.
I made a comment online the other day when I said, you know, anybody, if you're thrilled to, if you're actively attempting to cause someone to lose their income who have children, you're taking food off a child's plate. You are their enemy.
You are, yeah.
And that, I mean, you know, it's not me making a moral call on anybody. That's an art of war call. That's how it is.
Right.
That is how that is directly viewed. Because if you're not going to look that much further past the law, then you're doing the same thing a fucking cop does.
Right.
So you don't need to be out there screaming ACAB if you can't look that much further past the law and then say, well, they were breaking the law.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to say, well, these laws are okay to push and these laws are okay to yada, now you're a politician.
Right.
Yeah.
So because I've gotten the sense that not all anarchists are the same, uh, where do you stand on violence when it comes to, let's say, you got into an altercation or somebody came onto your property and took something of yours. Is violence in an individual situation okay? Like,
Um,
how do you feel about that?
well, when somebody steps into what is recognized as your pissing ground, and then there's a lot of realm of saying, I don't think one should be like a fucking, like a bulldog in a junkyard when it comes to their property. You
Right.
know, most animals, when you walk into their area, if you're not if you don't get too close to their cubs, and I mean that's just everybody knows that.
Right.
In general, unless you act like prey and run wrong, they're not usually trying to kill you, but they're going to let you know fast you need to get the fuck out of here.
Right.
And
This
they're
is my
letting you
area.
know, this is my area. I don't like you being here. Regardless of what you feel about violence, that's what's going to happen if you stay here.
You get a
You
warning
know?
first.
Right. And that's the whole thing. It's like, well, people talk about putting signs up. Well, I mean, that's
If not a
fine and
warning
dandy.
shot, then a no trespassing sign.
Right. And but that's the problem with that is, and it's like, well, not everybody can read. It's kind of impersonal, So I think putting signs up is good, but I don't necessarily think that's the reason to just come blasting if you see
Right.
somebody. Now,
Well, the sign is a threat, right?
right.
You have to be
It's
able
a,
to back that
it's
threat
it's
up.
it's a warning. Now, if I always said, say I got a plot of land, a nice little chill spot, and I got my little farmhouse and my fucking crops and everything, and there's a field out there, and there's local kids that live in some farms around there,
Mm-hmm.
and they go tromping through my cornfield because they like to go running through,
Yeah. Kids.
because it's the people around, because we are people, we're outside of this political spectrum as people, we're going to kind of know each other. And if we're good individuals, even if I don't like dude's old man and me and old Mr. Jones don't get along and whatever, I'm not an asshole, so I ain't gonna shoot at his fucking son because they want to go running through, because they're not doing anything but running through my field.
Running through. Yeah. Being kids.
All right. Now, dudes that want to fuck you up or
Mhm.
fuck with your situation or steal from you. Now, that's also to be said. People are like, well, somebody's just hungry and yada. Yeah, well, I'm a good person. If I were to go out and catch somebody and I had rows of fucking crop that were, and saw somebody that looked like they were not doing well and they were nagging, I ain't gonna give a shit.
Right.
But if I see somebody pull up with a truck on their way to the farmer's market, raking my shit up to go,
Right. Yeah.
we got
then
an
there's
issue,
issues. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
their act and what they are doing, they should know better. You know what I'm saying? It's not on me or my policy. It's just in general. Y'all know what the fuck y'all
Kind
are
of like
doing.
with children, you give them a pardon because they don't know shit yet.
Right. And you're trying to teach people, and especially with kids, the kids tromping through there, you're trying to teach them that the world can be a good place. So you don't want to be the asshole that runs out with salt rock and lights the ass up just because
Right.
they were running through there, But it's a really good example. I like to use that because everybody's like, well, that seems fine. That doesn't, yada yada, but not
Mhm.
everybody can be like that. All right. Well, suppose everybody is. Okay. Suppose we could all just be good people and that's fine. It doesn't matter if we got a little issues here and there. Nobody's really killing each other for whatever reason. Somebody comes on to maliciously take from you, as in like when my house got broken into, It wasn't some desperate like dude that was starving looking for some money, yada yada. They stole my goddamn guitars. It was a
Right.
dick. It was a dick hit on me. It was somebody fucking with me, you know.
Right.
And left other
Um. So
things behind, but took your guitars.
right, took all that stuff. You know, it's amateur night. They obviously weren't people that were used to pulling a jack move. You know what I'm saying? And that's normally what happens. That's another thing when I go back to the cops coming over. They're like, "Well, it was up," and I'm like, "I don't know shit." But anyway, I digress. When somebody comes to maliciously attack you, absolutely. Because the idea being when somebody breaches your security, they don't know whether or not you're there.
Right.
They can assume they could have watched your place, they could yada yada yada, but they still don't know beyond the shadow of a doubt whether or not you're there. So therefore, if they know there's a possibility that someone's home, they are walking themselves in with the understanding that they might have to commit violence against you.
Not
Because
only
do you
that,
think
but there might
if
be
they
children present. There might.
right? Do you think somebody's going to kick in the door, see a kid sitting there and be like, "Oh, I guess we're not going to rob y'all"? No, they're going to go, "Oh shit, we got to take it all the way." And that's when shit gets dangerous because
Right.
they're not used to that and people panic. They get more scared.
Right.
I was more afraid the crackhead that robbed me was going to shoot me because he was panicking than because he was more scared than I was. I mean, he
Right.
was freaking the fuck out, you know? And I was like, Jesus Christ, dude. I mean, it's cool. I ain't got no damn money. I got $1. You know, you robbed the wrong dude. You
Yeah.
Yeah.
know? And so that kind of thing, and it's animal tendency. Now to go back to the kids running across your field. The big argument with that is, well, the reason I want to yell at them and get them gone and not let them is liability.
Right.
Because if they fall down and get hurt, then it's on me. Well, no, it's not.
Mm-mm.
The state says it is. If they go get an attorney and their parents go get an attorney and like, we gonna sue you because Junior fucking dumbass done jumped your fence and busted his ass over there, so we're just gonna fucking win the redneck lottery and sue your ass. That's another bad move on somebody. That's them not doing right. Also, they have the government backing them.
Yeah.
Rather than say the entire community knows. Everybody gets together and says, well, you little rat ass Junior be doing that shit all the time.
Right. And it's funny that you're putting it in this way because I lived in a rural area in Kentucky, and even though there were fields around a lot of the houses, there were still neighborhoods where people's houses got broken into,
Mm-hmm.
and things were stolen. There were sometimes people walking around in people's yards that shouldn't be, just stuff
Right.
like that. But the consensus was to deal with it as a community, not
Right.
to go run and tell the police or run and
Right.
tell someone else. You deal with it.
There's
Right.
often better ways to handle problems like that.
Right.
Right. Yep.
Now it gets to the point you call the cops, it immediately escalates.
Yep.
So many people that I saw footage the other night of a dude who I think it was his daughter. He's kind of older. And I think she was driving. And they saw some dude, I guess he was drunk and he was laid out on the side of the road. And it's kind of in almost a rural area too. And so they kind of pulled over and checked him out, and he called the cops and said, hey, or called the ambulance, called 911 and said, hey, there's a guy out here. I don't know. Well, when the sheriff showed up, or I don't know, if it's a sheriff or a cop, whatever, shows up and he says, hey, I don't know. He sees a guy and he says, yeah, you seem like it's, Good Samaritan. The dude's like, yeah, we found him like this. I mean, he said he got hit by somebody or something, but I don't know. And he's like, all right. And then the cop kind of is, a little bit, he's not real bad off to begin with, but he's a little bit, and he's like, well, could y'all move the car so the ambulance can get over here? And he's like, well, yes, sir. That's, that's my daughter, my whoever over there. We're about to take off. I just wanted to wait till y'all got here. And he says, no, you can't leave. I'm going to need to get your information. And he's like, but you need to go ahead and move the car. And he's like, well, sir, I don't really want to give you any information. I just called y'all to make sure this dude was okay. We need to go. I want to go ahead and leave.
Right.
Well, he ends up getting into an argument with this dude and cuffing him and taking him in because he wouldn't ID himself. And he even opens the door up when he realizes he doesn't have a charge on him, and goes back and opens the door, and he's like, look, if you want to cooperate and blah, blah, blah. And you can tell that he's like trying to backtrack a little bit, but save his ego and get the dude to make a statement or just, and he's about to have to let him go. But the guy ends up telling him, he goes, no, I'm filing a complaint. I need your information. And he literally says, he goes, well, if you're going to file a complaint, I'm going to go ahead and take you in. And shuts the door. And I think that's how the dude got the bike, because it's his body cam footage. And I'm pretty certain the dude got off of it and probably had the dude reprimanded, but that's literally exactly how it went. He literally told him, oh, you're going to file a complaint on me. Therefore, I am going to take you in and charge you with something. And that's actually the written law specifically stating that that's a specific law that is being broken when somebody in the color of law threatens you with arrest for threatening them with a complaint on them, and it's blatant. It's just that fucking blatant. His own body cam's on, and he's just telling this dude, and all this dude did was pull over to see if this guy was all right and call an ambulance for him. And next thing you know, he's got to go fucking deal with cops. Yep. So it's just ridiculous intervention. The overreach and intervention is just, it's so far gone that they keep us worrying about who the fuck's sitting in what seat, that now everybody, DNC got in power and everybody loves the cops. They're cheering them on as they round up all these secessionists, all these non-patriots.
The cops were bad, now they're good.
Yep. Same people that were bitching and moaning about, I wish cops, blah, 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 the way they kill all the black people, are literally talking about these scumbags, the way they beat that cop to death. I'm going, wait, did you just, wait, y'all are going to make my head pop. I'm confused.
Well, gentlemen, we've been all over the map.
Yeah.
Going about, we're pushing over 3 hours now. So, yeah. I have my doubts, but I hope the Biden administration does the best that it can, and that we're headed into a bright future. Everyone have a good night, and try to treat each other like humans and hear each other out.
Think, make head pain.
I'm sorry, I forgot. Well, I mean, think to your own limits, what you can. And have a good night, everybody.
Good night, Alice.